What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Today, Sunday night chatting. We've got so much to talk about. We didn't stream on Wednesday. We didn't have our Let's Play, so we didn't talk Andor. So we got Andor tonight. We've got House of the Dragon. We've got She-Hulk season finale. And we got the Rings of Power season finale. And a few, unfortunately, we got some tidbits on some Marvel news and some delays in some of their movies. But before we get into all of that, Dave and Doug, how are you?
I am grand. I'm just happy to be here and wrapping up my week. It was a couple of long days behind me. How about you, Doug? How are you doing?
Dave, let me tell you, I am outstanding. And you know what? Same here, sir. I am also wrapping up the end of a very long week, and I suppose starting tomorrow is the start of yet another week. Although hopefully this one won't be quite as long. But I tell you what, normally I will be enjoying a far more adult beverage for these evening chats. But tonight it's coffee because I need the caffeine to function. But I'm really looking forward to hanging out with you gentlemen tonight. And with that, Keith, sir, how are you?
Well, now that I'm here talking nerdy stuff on a Sunday night, I am tremendous. Much like you guys, it was a very busy week. I'm behind on everything I need to do. I was trying to get our giveaway video put out, and I have it all recorded, and then I wasn't able to do it. My wife was out of town, but for those of you, tomorrow we will be posting a video on our YouTube to give away this JSA Black Adam, Black Rain, which is a great comic. I read it on DC Universe Infinite.
Very family friendly, right?
Very family friendly, yes. But it does seem like kind of what is going to happen in the movie a little bit. I think the movie follows some of its plot lines. So we got that going away tomorrow. We got some, back issue breakdowns for the same issues coming out. I've been trying to get that all done, but with the wife out of town and 2 kids, I have not been as successful. I don't think so. Mine's not, at least.
No, I don't think it's coming from me. I'll adjust my microphone and make sure that you're still hearing an echo.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know where it could be coming from.
I'm not hearing an echo.
No, neither am I.
That's weird. I have it set up the way I normally do, and I have an echo going on. It's all right. Just keep going.
Well, we'll try to get it. But I guess, one of our friends, one of the friends of the channel, Carrie, wanted us to wait to talk House of the Dragon. So if it's okay with you, gentlemen, perhaps we should start with Andor this evening.
Yeah, all right, I'm down with that.
It was another great show. They are hitting on all cylinders with this show. It's amazing. And I forget the guy's name. I watched it a second time just so I could remember all their names, and I don't remember their names. But the guy who used to be a stormtrooper getting killed. Spoilers! Spoiler alert!
oh, spoiler alert!
Come on, it's like 4 days ago. We talked spoilers Wednesday night. I think we're all right.
Yeah, I knew that it sucked that him and the other guy. I know his name too.
The kid?
Yeah,
the guy crushed.
Yes. He those two dying was like, I didn't want to, I didn't want anybody on the team to die, but it makes sense, they're attacking
a
military. Yeah, they're going to lose somebody. But, they're not making overly I don't know how to say, overly big statements with this show. It's just raw. Like, this is how he became who he was. I love it.
And you know what I really liked about it, too? Because they're not rushing him to become this huge part of the rebellion. It seemed like he was really looking, like, kind of buying into it a little bit with them all. And then 2 things happened that really set him away from it. One was, and I can't think of any of their names, but when she didn't want to go see the doctor for that kid, she just wanted to make him escape. He's like, no, we're going to the doctor. Definitely. And then when, I think Skeen is his name?
Skeen.
When he was like, why don't we just take the ship? I know a moon. We'll split it 40 million apiece or whatever.
I was surprised. Wasn't that the dude who was giving him crap about
Yeah.
being a mercenary?
It was, but now in retrospect, I think he was seeing, will this guy split it with me? You know, can I work out something with him to take it away? And when he said that, you just saw the look of disgust on Andor's face.
Yeah.
And then he just shot him like, yeah, this isn't what I thought it was. You guys talk about a rebellion. Because I think he was finally believing that, hey, maybe we can make a difference against the Empire. And then he saw the people that he was working with, and he was just like, yeah, no, I can't trust you guys.
I appreciate that, because if you look at what George Lucas originally wanted out of Star Wars, he was pretty clear. Yeah, it's good versus evil. You know, there's the good guys and there's the bad guys. There's the good Rebel Alliance and there's the evil Sith. And it was either black or white, right? There was no gray area. But that's what I appreciate about this show, is they're showing that even though the rebels, you know, are supposed to be the good guys, you know, not all of them really are. This is the beginnings of the rebellion, and there are some gray area where, you know, like, some of them may be in it for different reasons. Some of them it may not be, you know, because they truly care about a free galaxy. You know, they're guys that just, like, they're in it for themselves.
I was surprised because I thought when Skeen was having that speech, knowing the conversations he had with Clem before,
Clem.
I thought he was testing him now that the mission was complete. I thought he was testing him to see what he would do. And then when he shot him, I was like, oh, I guess he was serious, you know? So, and then, you know, at least Clem was there to see that, because I would have been like, are you testing me? And then he probably would have shot me. So, you know what I mean?
So Dave would have been killed in the same situation.
Right. I've been like, are you testing me? Ooh. That'd be it.
Take my cut. Yeah, just, you know, they're doing a great job of not rushing anything, having excellent characters. You know, the whole way that they got into understand the heist, you know, was because the one Imperial fell in love with a native and all that went down. And just, you know, Doug talked about it a little bit last week too, the interactions where, you know, his fellow Imperials are like, man, I can smell the stench from here or whatever. And he's just like, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what I did like? I love with this show how they're even giving you like character depth on the Imperial you know, commander there. I forgot his name too, but you know, they're showing him with his family, and he's like, you know, if you want us to get this transfer off this rock, we got to be nice to this guy. And I'm like, and then the guy he ended up dying, right?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so that was character development, even though he was going to die. You know, you knew, you know, his family's got their motives. They wanted to get out of there, and it's just like having a job. You know, we want to transfer to another planet that's got better healthcare or something. I don't know, but.
The planet of Canada with a K.
Yeah. And Tundra Walker, greetings, fellow nerd. Good to have you on board. Hope you saw Andor. And Anubis 2021, first time chatter. Thank you for showing up. When you say it's me, excellent. Thank you. Oh, Beyond Next Gen Gaming, awesome. Thank you. One of our friends over on YouTube joined us tonight. Appreciate it. Good to see you. We're talking Andor right now. We're going to be talking. Well, we're going to talk She-Hulk season finale, House of the Dragon, and I did finish Rings of Power, so we can even talk of that a little bit. Like I said, we're going to have some Marvel news, some interesting Marvel news, and then some delays and stuff. But we are talking Andor. I hope everybody, if you haven't watched it, you should. It has been fantastic. Definitely loving it. I mean, what, 6 is this? Yeah, 6 episodes in. Yeah. And
Ready? Wow.
I know, only 6 episodes left. But, I mean, you know, Dave is right. It's like they take every character that's going to show up in this show, and even if they're not going to talk about it, it seems like they create a backstory for them and why they're doing it and what motivates them. So if it comes up, it makes sense and it seems to fit in. But I did have to laugh because this episode was called The Eye, and the 7th episode of Rings of Power was also called The Eye. And spoiler alert, the Andor, The Eye episode was much better.
I kind of figured it would be.
But there might be a surprise when I talk of Rings of Power later.
Oh boy.
Well, Carrie is here, so you're open to talk about whatever you want now.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah. So going back to the Andor episode, I I was happy that they finally got to the that they finally got to the actual heist that they had been planning, and that they finally got to that whole thing.
You son of a bitch!
Right?
I'm in.
There it is. That's our first reference. We are 13 minutes in. Congratulations, Dave.
Yes. I had totally forgot too. So. I mean, I got to get a shot of a whiskey too.
No,
I mean,
we are not doing that.
Oh, good.
But no, I was glad they got to it. But at the same time, like, Clem was right to be concerned, because that whole thing, like, I guess it went as smooth as could be expected, but they were short on time, like, almost immediately. I mean, it was kind of a shit show. I don't even think they got everything that they were trying to steal. Yeah, and the majority of them all died. I mean, I was like, oh my god.
My question was, why was Lev, that's her name, Lev, why did she hesitate? What happened? What was going on in her head? That's something they'll probably explain. I mean, because they're very thorough on this show, so they'll probably bring that up on the
nerves.
show.
Nerves?
Yeah, she's probably never done anything like that before, and I think she got to that point, she was a little gun-shy, like, I'm not sure if we should do this or not. Mm-hmm. And we did get a message from Tundra Walker. So, are your kids allowed to say ring pops, or do they have to say ring sodas? No, they can say ring pops, because that's what they're called, just like a soda is a soda.
It's soda pop.
And I do not think I'm from New York City, Tundra Walker. I just call it what it is. Soda is a much better thing to say than the monosyllabic pop.
I got so used to saying soda when I was down in Georgia that it became more normal for me, and I'll usually say soda before I say pop. And then somebody who's been in Michigan their entire life will, correct me immediately. Don't you mean pop? Yeah, sure, I mean pop, okay.
I thought they called it Coke in the South.
In certain states, yes. But where I was, it was soda.
Wait, let me get our tangent time up, because we've seemed to have tangented off of Andor.
We did tangent.
We abandoned the talk
actually,
of Andor.
This works out, because I was at Comic-Con today, and I was looking at all the different figures, and they do have figures for Andor already out. I was surprised at it. Didn't know that they already had them, available to purchase.
Oh, that is awesome.
They usually come out before the show, though, right? So that's when they get all the people making their theories based on the little...
Sometimes, yeah.
Usually it's Legos. The Lego set will come out, and people will be like, look, you can see that Shuri is the new Black Panther from this set. Or, we got this.
This Black Panther has boobs.
Yeah. Oh, and Anubis is from New York City, but his eldest brother is from Detroit. So that's where we're from. As you can see, I'm enjoying a Faygo this evening, a Diet Faygo. So excellent. The one thing I was thinking about that it was like something I was like, I can't believe I've never thought of this before. They had to have had a heist of some type, or a way to fund, because they were talking. Mon Mothma was like, they're watching me everywhere. Now they got almost $80 million, because the rebellion is going to need to buy ships, and they're going to need to pay people and food and all that stuff. And I was like,
I almost wonder, do you think it was more small time, like what Cassian had been doing? Like, not really a full-on heist, but just stealing little things here and there?
Yes. And I think this is what really starts funding the rebellion, because it is so much money. Mm-hmm. And now, of course, it'll be hard to do again, because they're going to be on the lookout for, heists. But I think this is going to, do a few things. I think we're going to get a time jump after this a little bit, because I think Cassian is going to go his own way. And I think, the ISB people, the internal services of the Imperial, they're going to start really cracking down on what's going on. I think the one lady's going to start putting the pieces together along with her boss and maybe the other guy. And they're going to be like, okay, this isn't just one's off anymore. And this proves it. I told you guys before, but they just stole like 80 million credits from us.
Yo.
And you know those poor people who serve on that planet are going to be pissed. What do you mean I don't get paid this week? No way, I ain't doing this.
They literally stole payroll.
Hey, who's paying me to yell at this guy?
Another Rick and Morty reference.
Yep.
No one.
Okay, Tundra Walker. Just because Fago.com says it's the one true pop doesn't mean they're saying it right. Just because they have a delicious soda doesn't mean that they can tell me how to enunciate. Just like, I don't care.
On the bottle. What does it say on the bottle?
It says Fago Red Pop.
Red what?
Red Pop.
Pop, yeah. Pop.
But that's
It
like...
doesn't say red soda, right? It says red pop.
But that's like...
That's just the name. That's like the name brand of the flavor.
Yeah. It's like like a Kleenex.
Yeah, there isn't literal dew in Mountain Dew.
It's Red Pop soda.
There could be.
Boy, this has been an interesting tangent time.
Yes, it has. So
we're wavering back and forth. We went to Andor for a minute there.
Well, the whole reason why I brought up the whole action figure things, I have been on the hunt. I am very disappointed. They still do not have a Tim with 2 M's action figure holding his cup of calf. I mean, come on. Give the fans what we demand. We want a Tim action figure.
You know you'll get one at some point.
They got the little robot dude. They got Cassian.
I mean, who was that one? Who was that one bounty hunter that was in the scene for like 2 seconds? They made fun of him on Robot Chicken.
Oh, the lizard one?
No, it was the guy. What? No, the guy who wore a black and white robe.
Oh, Dengar.
Dengar.
Oh, yeah.
They made a whole episode about him. He was only on there for like 2 seconds. And he's got his own action figure, so where's Tim's?
That's what I want to know. They've got a Bix action figure. She was also only from the first episode. I don't know if she's ever going to come back in the series, but she's got her own figure.
I have a theory time.
Ooh,
a theory palooza. I do think she's coming back. I do think at some point that Cassian is going to either go back and hang out with her at some point, or once he... I think we're going to get a little time jump here. And I think the guy, Real, I think his name is, who was celebrating that the heist went off pretty successfully, at least they got all that money. I think he's going to keep recruiting Cassian because he said, I think you're a guy we could work with and all this stuff, and I think he's going to have to work a little harder to kind of bring him in. But I think once he does, he's going to be like, I think she would be excellent for the rebellion. She's great with repairing stuff and salvaging stuff. And, she honestly was, working with you prior. I think we need to bring her on board. Or Real will just bring her on board, and then they'll, meet up again at some point.
So, do you think... I don't remember if I asked this the last time we were talking about Andor, but do you think there's a chance that we're going to see any other recognizable characters show up in the series, or do you think they're going to keep it pretty, these are all kind of unknowns? The only person that we will recognize is Cassian.
No, because we will also see Forrest Whitaker's character. Can't think of his name.
Saw
Gerrera. We've seen him in a trailer, so we know he's coming. But other than that, I think you're right. I don't think we're going to see...
No Emperor make an appearance, no Vader.
Nope.
They don't need it.
No, they don't. And it's been doing great. Like, I was kind of surprised that a show that was solely focused on just, the regular non-wizard ground troops of the rebellion, doing great. But I wonder, do you think
died in his only movie appearance?
Yeah.
Do you think that this will tie at all into the Ahsoka series?
No.
No? Okay.
I think this is going to be all very grounded stories. The opposite. It's almost going to run in parallel with Rebel. Well, it is running in parallel with Rebels. Mm-hmm. Both kind of started 5 years before A New Hope, where Rebels was, getting the Jedi and the Mandalorians and stuff. This is going to be all focused on just ground level people and seeing why they would choose to go against the Empire.
It'd be cool if one day, if it was all quality products, let's just say that first. If you could just line them up chronologically and then watch them as they were supposed to happen. Like even with the shows, like by episode.
You're talking about like even with Clone Wars and Rebels and Bad Batch.
Yep.
Oh Lord, that would take so long.
That would be awesome.
It would.
How long does it normally take you to get through a run of what's that? Oh my God, Smallville.
About 9 months.
Oh, it takes you 9 months to get through all the seasons?
Yeah, I mean, because I don't just watch it every day, just whenever I can. Just put it on.
Okay. So I remember, I want to say last year, maybe the year before, you had mentioned that you had you'd gone through the entire series again, and you said you made a comment saying something along the lines of, "It's always sad when I get to the end. It's like saying goodbye to old friends."
It's,
I wonder if it takes you 9 months to get through Smallville. And how many seasons?
10.
220 episodes.
220 episodes. And then if we were to do something like that with Star Wars media, and I assume that you mean the movies too?
Yeah.
Okay, so all the movies, all the animated series, The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett.
See, there's nothing happening currently, though. After Rise of Skywalker, there's nothing happening in that universe. Everything else is before that's happening on TV.
Nope, apparently there are no more Wars in the Stars after that point.
I think we'll be coming back to that time period. But Anubis did highlight my message for sheared fellas. Not sure I know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
Thank you.
All right.
And I don't know if you can hear my kids yelling upstairs.
No, actually cannot.
Good. I was telling Doug before.
You can't hear an echo, and we can't hear your kids. So Doug's got to come up with something now.
Hey, look, I have bad hearing anyway, so maybe don't trust me.
What?
Exactly.
I think we all have bad hearing here. But okay, any last things on Andor?
Any last words on Andor? Aw, Tundra Walker.
I think he's mocking me for all of the audio issues we've had, because one time I was muted, and then, hey, Tundra Walker, if it helps any, Carrie, one of our friends, came out to the studio to talk about Loki, and I didn't have the mic turned on for our entire recording. This is when we were just doing YouTube, too, and not on Twitch. So she sat with us, and we talked Loki for an hour, and then none of it was recoverable. So I've been doing this forever, but I've been getting better. Today, I had the stream information updated. I had all of the things correct. All the audio was good. I restarted my router.
Tundra Walker, it isn't even really just Keith. If you go back and you watch our recordings from during the beginning parts of the pandemic, we did not know what the heck we were doing, trying to figure out how to use Zoom for the first time to do our recordings, since, we couldn't leave our houses, couldn't be at the studio. And we didn't realize how Zoom worked when it, focused the camera on different people. And so there would be plenty of times, in the middle of the video, you'll hear Dave talking, and it'll just be me,
couldn't really edit that out,
I still
or something like that.
I still laugh when
moved your mouth while I was talking.
Or you clicked your mouse and it would pick up on it.
Yep.
Focus on them. I still remember. I laugh all the time when I think about. Okay, I want to say something. Okay, hey.
Yep.
Okay, it's on me. You guys mute. No, it's their stuff. Those were the good old days.
The joys of editing. And then the whole reason why we ended up coming up with this tangent time is also because we would spend so long going off in this giant tangent in the beginning of all of our recordings, or in the middle of our recordings, or sometimes at the end of that. We would joke amongst each other while editing, I had to cut out 30 minutes of nonsense of us just babbling.
For an 8-minute video, yeah. I cut out 47 minutes worth of us talking nonsense.
Oh, by the way, Doug, that's a Smallville reference from you at 23 minutes in. So
nice.
So you covered my second one.
Nice. We got it all out of the way. Fantastic. All right. Who's ready to talk House of the Dragon?
Not me.
Look, there was a house, there was a dragon.
Now, are you all caught up, Douglas?
Mostly. I unfortunately did not get a chance to finish the most recent episode, and I'm not talking about tonight. I'm talking about the one from last week. I got partway through, and I don't recall if those of you who are on the stream, it's such a blur now. I don't even remember if I got a chance to mention it.
Carrie's yelling at you, Doug, on the chat.
I'm sorry, Carrie. So we had my grandma here in town, and I was babysitting my sister's dog. I had a lot going on with that stuff, plus stuff going on with work. I had no time. I'm surprised I was able to get Andor in. It was so rough. I was so slammed with different things going on. I had this one night we had this work event, and I had to excuse myself from the work event so I could get on another Zoom call with the organization that I volunteer with and talk with them and have a meeting with them and then go back to the work thing. So, like, it's just been chaos all this entire week.
By the way, I agree with Tundra Walker. So did.
Oh, you both did.
I agree 100% that we need.
That's 10 minutes, Doug. Oh, don't do that to me ever.
I didn't know if he had 1,000, so I'm like, you know what? I agree. I want to hear this explained as Bane. Because, Doug, trust me, I understand. With small kids in the house, I can only watch these shows when they're in bed or at school or something. And I was laughing. Sully, my youngest, did not have school on Thursday. My wife was out of town. She was on like a family trip with her wife and with her mom and sister. And so we're sitting there, and he was watching his iPad. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to watch She-Hulk. He goes, oh, yeah, go ahead. I don't care. So I had headphones in. It was no joke. I would start it, and he would start talking. And I'd pause it, and we would talk. And I'd go, okay. He goes, yeah. I would hit start again, and he would start talking again. And I'm like, man, is this button hooked up to him? Because it was no joke. Every time I hit play, he was like, oh, Dad, did you know that this and that? I'm like, I did not know that, but thank you for sharing that.
Okay.
Okay, since we're still in tangent time, I'll go ahead and explain what my week was like. It was quite... What? What's going on? Is everything all right? Oh, okay. So, what? Oh, okay. So, he's stepping away. I'll go ahead. My Bane has a little clay face in it. Well, you know what? I'm going to blow him up. God damn it, I'm sick of you, Thunderwalker, calling me Clayface. Anyway, so my grandmother came in town, and let me tell you, she's quite needy. She's a lot like Keith's children. That's exactly what she was like. I try to watch a show, and I have to keep pausing so she would turn, Douglas, did you know that your aunt grew a garden? Or
Where'd Keith go? What happened?
What?
Where'd Keith go? What happened?
Keith had to leave. He had to step away. I threatened to blow him up.
So was it just me who got knocked off just now?
Yes.
I
Yes,
don't know what's going on.
I have been telling my story as Bane.
Well, keep going, baby.
I am. Anyway, I was saying how my grandmother was in town, and I had to continuously pause every show that I was trying to watch. The only way I got through Andor was by getting up exceedingly early. The only way. I got up very, very early. I watched Andor, and it was the only way. I didn't have time to finish House of the Dragon. I started to. I watched half of it, a little more than half of it, and I couldn't finish it, and I still need to. I have to catch up. I'm very behind on so much. There's so much going on right now. So many people to threaten, so many coffee shops to blow up.
Many pasta makers.
So many pasta makers to reclaim. You don't understand how little time I have. Oh, David is gone again. This happened when you stepped away. Oh, this happened when you stepped away as well.
Ah, I wonder if
And
he's
he
having
asked me, he
issues.
said, "Where's Keith?" I said, "I blew him up."
What? Why would you do such a thing?
Because my name is Bane.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
Not Bane.
And Anubis, we would love to hear your Bane. That would be fantastic. Let's not stand in condensation, Mr. Wayne.
You
But
may adopt the condensation. I was born in it.
now, since it seems like I am the only one on the channel who has watched the latest issue, man, so much great, the latest episode. I thought, and I think Dave would have hated this scene. I don't know if you saw it. When they were having the hearing on who should be the Lord of Driftwood, Driftmark, not Driftwood, and after Princess Rhaenyra said, Dad, you named me heir. You need to come out and say it again and basically support me or whatever.
When
And
he had
that
to put
scene,
the little, mask thing on.
yes, and when he was
Yeah.
walking, the doors open, and he was walking, and it like took forever for him to get up there, and I was just like, oh my god, this scene is just so,
How
intense,
many
and
times
powerful.
have we said he should have died at the end of like every single episode? I swear.
No, absolutely, and I mean, I was like, just like, holy cow! And then when he was actually very kingly when he was basically saying, why are we discussing something that has already been decided? And he was like, I'll have nothing of this, and yada. Yes, and I agree with Carrie. That was Emmy winning and so powerful. That whole episode, even him. Well, the one thing in that scene when his crown falls off, and Damon comes up and picks it up and helps him up. That wasn't in the script. That was improv during one of the filming of that scenes, and they just thought it was so good that they kept it, and it really was. Yep, he did. Matt Smith improvised that, absolutely.
Wow.
And Sierra, welcome to the chat. Are you team Alicent or Rhaenyra? I am more team Rhaenyra, only in the sense that she is the rightful heir. And the whole thing of this scene, the whole dinner scene, and it literally was the perfect scene episode. I agree, Carrie, 100%. When they're having dinner and the king, who when he takes off his mask, and you can just see how much his body is ravaged by this disease and all of that. I'm just like, oh my god, dude. Doug, are you frozen?
No.
Oh,
Listening.
and
I'm listening intently.
You just see how much this disease has ravaged his body, yet he still has the strength to be like, listen, as your king, as your father, as your grandsire, we are just going to get along. And, he finally almost was like kingly, because normally he was always like, whatever, guys. And then you see the family almost getting along. You see, Rhaenyra toast Alicent, and Alicent, talk, and then everything was pretty hunky-dory, except between the kids who were kind of being jerks to each other with, when the pig was brought out and Aemon was not very happy. Still a little salty over them putting wings on that pig, in the earlier episode. And all of that goodwill, everything that happened, he's back. But everything, all the goodwill that came up, everything undone with him under the milk of the poppy, explaining to Alicent about the Song of Ice and Fire, and her thinking the Aegon he was talking about was their son and not the Conqueror from before. And it's like almost everything was going to fall, and of course it wouldn't have been much more of a show if everyone said, okay, Princess Rhaenyra is the true queen, and move along. So it was needed this, but I was just like, they could have at least given us the rest of this episode as a feel-good thing, and then see that. And man, because she's like, I understand my king, so it's just going to be Dance of the Dragons. I think I said it last week. I think he would die this episode, and then we'd see, the 9th episode in every season is always like that huge battle, the craziness going on, and then the 10th is kind of a come down a little bit, ramping up for the next season, and we're definitely getting that.
From this episode, I was getting some serious vibes. Did you all see that movie from 2005, Kingdom of Heaven?
No.
I did not.
Really good movie. It had Orlando Bloom, Liam Neeson, Edward Norton, whole bunch of names. It was basically about the Crusades and the French monarchy trying to hold Jerusalem against, I think Saladin was his name, who was this Muslim warlord and everything. But same kind of like idea. They were trying to decide who was going to take over for him. The king, he had a terrible disease, so much so, I think he had like leprosy or something. So much so he had to wear a face mask too, because he was so degraded, so deteriorated, he couldn't be seen in public looking like that.
Well, and remember, the Crab King wore a face mask before Damon killed him earlier in the season, so,
Yep.
we've been seeing a lot more of the masks. But Sierra brought up a good point, and definitely right. At the end of the episode, he clearly mistook Alicent as Rhaenyra, 100%, when he brought up the ice and fire and Aegon the Conqueror. I'm always like, Aegon. I can't keep track of all their names because they're so similar.
Mucus.
Yes. Yeah, and I agree. I mean, Alicent has been pushed into marrying the king and being his buddy and all that by Otto from the start. And he gave her that sort of a speech last week. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. And he's like, I finally see that you are up for the task for this, and yada, yada, yada. And Otto is much to blame for the Dance of the Dragons coming up as, King Vision or whatever. The king who just passed away, because he's been so wimbly and so terrible about supporting and putting his, word out there. No one cares. Of course, it doesn't help that, Princess Rhaenyra is having bastards with, the king of the guards and everything. But once again, it wouldn't be... Sorry. It wouldn't be as much of a show if everything just went according to plan.
And yes, Carrie, I will definitely help you out with subscribing. I know these commercials they can be annoying.
But I am looking forward. I don't know. I know the third kid. I can't remember his name now, but Alicent's third kid, who we haven't really seen much of, he's going to be showing up too in the next couple episodes. And I don't know how heated this is going to get, because, I think she is going to obviously take the crown and be the queen, at least for a bit. But then we're going to see, Alicent and her dad and her buddy. I can't remember his name either, who killed his dad and brother in the fire.
That's all right. Names are meaningless.
That's true. I always know the names when I'm watching it. Then we get on here and I'm like, that one dude.
Immediately forget.
The little thing.
Me laugh was Tundra Walker put. What did he put about the blacksmith? Oh, I did a blacksmith.
Oh, he was talking about Kingdom of Heaven.
But when I saw the blacksmith, what do you think I thought, Doug?
I don't know. What did you think, Dave?
Rick and Morty, the heist episode. Oh, so you didn't need a blacksmith.
Oh.
No.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Sierra, you are absolutely right. It isn't fair. Her husband was gay, and they were pushed together for the good of the realm, and they did the best they could. And it certainly isn't her fault, and I don't blame her. I'm just saying, when the kids look that different, that's going to be brought up in the Game of Thrones. People are not going to let that slide. If they think they can push you aside and gain power, they're going to use any advantage they can to gain ahead. And the fact that they looked nothing like a Targaryen or nothing, it shows.
Like 2 episodes ago when somebody, was it Allison? Somebody made a comment, oh, well, maybe better luck with the next one.
Oh, yeah, she did when they brought the baby. Yeah, maybe the next one will look more like you. And she even admitted in one episode, we tried. We wanted to do the right thing. But, they are who they are. And what's the use of a sword if you can't end a dinner argument with it?
That's good.
Spread the butter.
What's my purpose?
That's the butter.
I made a Rick and Morty reference. Yeah!
Whoa!
Yay!
It's not just me anymore, folks.
Finally, Keith's caught up to season 2.
Hey, I'm only 2 episodes behind. Well, I'll be 2 episodes behind tonight. I
No, they
haven't
don't.
wa-
They already have one tonight.
Oh, why not?
It's a break in the season. The next one isn't coming out till I think November 20th is what it said.
Oh, so I'll definitely be
I
caught
thought they
up.
put out 8. They only put out 6?
For now, like I said, it's a break. It's
Well,
like,
no, that's what I mean. I thought they were doing 8 before the break.
Oh,
I guess there's only 10 in a season, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Truman Capote.
What? Who said that? Sierra, don't do that to me.
Come on.
What's,
And we just got in all caps. Truman Capote.
nice. Thunder Walker says, I'm on season 2 of Harley Quinn. Now, what do you think of it, Thunder Walker? So, I know we really like it. It took us a little bit. It took us a little bit. Like, the first episode was not great of that series, but I will say, Keith, Dave, and I think all three of us, we agreed, like, once we got a couple of episodes in, it was pretty good.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's been great. I saw all 3 seasons and they're all good. Now they're gonna have this holiday special for
Valentine's Day
with her and Poison Ivy. So, you know,
It should definitely be. Oh my God! It's a shame you guys don't like Big Bang.
Really?
That's
Is
nice.
it a shame?
See, I was
actually
very
feel much better about myself not liking it.
I was very worried
I
about.
think she would do a better job in the movies.
We know, but I was a little worried about her doing the voice. I was like, is she going to be able to pull it off? But she does a great job on that show. It's her own take. You know, she didn't try to copy anybody else. She wasn't trying to copy the animated series, or I can't think of her name. Who plays Harley in the movies?
Margot Robbie.
Yes,
Margot Robbie. Yeah.
Miss Margot Robbie. I thought she might try to do that, but she did her own thing, and it really worked. And the writers of that show did great. And I saw something. Speaking while we're on tangent time for House of the Dragon,
All time is tangent time this episode.
that's true. I was laughing because someone said they should do a She-Hulk cartoon that's part Harley Quinn, part Harvey Birdman, and then I was like, "Oh, I would definitely watch it." That's
I would watch the hell out of that. That would be great.
Well,
That'd be
still,
so
we
good.
didn't get any news on the what's that guy? The Kite Man show. We don't know if it's canceled or not.
I'm hoping we get word soon, but
I
they haven't
hope so.
they haven't come right out and said it's canceled. So fingers crossed that we're still going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, sir. Can you reach the Crispix? Okay.
I wanted to see the Kite Man show, and I wanted Peacemaker to appear in it.
Yeah,
I
They've
figured
already
that-
had James Gunn on there on the Harley Quinn show. He could be in the
Right.
bar with Peacemaker.
I think that would have been, like, animated or not, it would have been the perfect foil for him. Like, just a show about Kite Man and then having to avoid dealing with, like, getting caught by Peacemaker.
Yes, I heard that they canceled Sandman 2, Sierra. That's a rumor, though. I don't know if we got 100% concrete evidence.
Netflix has not confirmed that they are not making a season 2. But the fact that they've waited this long and we haven't heard anything,
Probably means that they won't be.
it's more than likely we're not getting a season 2.
Yep,
And yes,
that's
Tundra
true.
Walker, I agree that Margot is outstanding. Dave is
I-
not a fan.
I think Margot does a great job as Harley Quinn.
Overall, I like her.
I'm losing my voice here. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Crispix, that's what I gotta do. I gotta say Crispix. Then I got Capote back. Overall, I like her as an actress.
You only got one more minute.
I just don't like her as Harley Quinn.
And now, one last point on House of the Dragon before we move on, absolutely.
Absolutely. Ugh, Crispix.
Before you get to your last point, Carrie, did we miss anything that you were thinking of that you were hoping we would discuss in House of the Dragon? Okay, Keith.
Yeah, I think she's right. Patty, can't remember his name now. He definitely deserves to win an Emmy just for this episode alone. He's been great all season, but this episode he definitely did it. But my final point is, let's see, I just can't believe you didn't watch. Yeah, I know, Doug, unbelievable. Come on, man. But at the end, when we see Allison's, I don't know, lady in waiting, I don't know what you call her, but she's reporting to Damon's former mistress, like what's going on and stuff. And I was like, ooh. So is Damon got an inside into Allison's house so he'll know what's going on a little bit? Because I thought that was very interesting to show at the end there. So I think they're going to get a heads up that she thinks her son is the prince that was promised. When I think if anyone has seen the way he's behaved this season, we know that is not true. Oh, the marriage news. Yeah, it was definitely, you're right. I almost forgot about that. That was nice when Princess Rhaenyra went to her aunt and was saying, listen, this is what we can do. And she's like, I don't know. And then when she got into court and she saw her brother coming out to support her, she was like, you know what, I'm going to make the most of this. And yes, our kids are going to be married, intertwine our families even more and all that stuff. So I'm assuming that's still going to go on, and we'll see how it goes from there. But there was so much.
Getting married to your uncle cousin.
Yes. It's funny because it's not even shocking anymore in Game of Thrones when stuff like that happens. Like when Daemon and Rhaenyra are married. I'm like, yeah, still better than the twins from Game of Thrones.
I have to keep the bloodlines pure. Okay. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if you actually meant bloodlines or if they were just so mixed up that they just are now lions.
Well,
yes.
I mean, why do you think the royal family looks so weird?
Right.
And yes, Tundra Walker, you got 9 minutes until it starts. We know you're going to be jumping off. We might be on after 10. If it's over and you want to jump back on, just let us know how it is. I'm hopefully watching it tonight, but once again, I was telling Doug earlier, my son woke me up at 6 a.m. this morning, said it was time to get up, and then said we were up all night because it was so dark when we got up. I'm hoping to be able to stay up. I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But any more House of the Dragon, I kind of said what I think's next, which I think, obviously we're getting into that Dance of the Dragons, but I think it's going to be not as much fighting initially, more just these sort of positioning themselves. And I think, Alicent's going to be pushing for allies, especially with the Lord of Hanrahal being her buddy, and I don't know what she's going to want him to do, but I mean, I think Daemon is going to have an inside look at that with what we saw at the end there, and he's going to be able to slice it because he's been such an amazing character this whole season, and seeing the way he stood up for Rhaenyra, at the end when the Driftwood, the brother of the Lord of Driftmark, when he just cut off his head, he's like, you can keep your tongue. I was like, man, that special effects on that was too good. I didn't need to see that. Yes, and they did mention in Game of Thrones that Rhaenyra gets eaten by her brother's dragon in front of her son. But I thought it was Aegon's dragon. It's not Daemon's dragon. I thought it was Aegon.
See,
we talked about that. I do remember talking about that last week.
And
since I've watched Game of Thrones, I'd have to go back and see. I don't remember that.
And one of the other things that Game of Thrones mentioned was that Kristen Cole is the Kingmaker. Jamie was talking about him when he was reading about the Kingsguard update, and they said he is the Kingmaker. So I think we're going to see him, take a huge role, going forward too. And I think he's definitely going to be a major part in Aegon, the prince that was promised, taking the throne at some point.
And of course, Jamie was the Kingslayer.
Yes. But
I think it's kind of. I mean, he wasn't the best person in that series, but I always thought it was a little shitty of them to be like, he was the one who kind of helped make it possible for the Baratheons to take the throne, and they gave him shit about it the entire time.
Well, when you heard him explain to Gwendolyn Christie's character. I can't remember her name in the show either. He's like, listen.
You're on a roll.
Did I? Yeah, I know. I'm always terrible with names. He was like, listen, he was about to kill hundreds of people. Mm-hmm. I saved these people. Yeah. I may have sworn to protect the king and I may have killed him, but it was the right thing to do at the time. He goes, you guys can call me king.
Him from himself.
Yeah, his character arc in Game of Thrones was tremendous. Because you hate him so much. Yeah. Especially with what he does with Bran in the first season. And then as you get to know him more and more, you're like, yeah, this dude did what he did. You see him just, such a slur that he's the Kingslayer. And then you kind of find out his reasoning and why he did it. And you're like, this dude's not, such a bad thing. And he had the best arc. He had the Ahsoka arc from the Clone Wars. It was great.
And I agree, Carrie. Yeah, he was the best except for that finale. Look, everybody got a terrible treatment in the finale, and it was funny. I actually saw a post earlier today. They were talking about the actor who played Bran. He even said he thought that the initial script that they had gotten, he thought it was a joke script when he read the part where he was to be king, and he was laughing like, oh, "Okay, this is funny, guys." They said, no, this is really what we're going to do. And he's like, but why?
Every time I think I'm like, I should rewatch. I'm like, I cannot. I can't watch that final season again. It would just totally destroy it. Oh, yeah, and Sierra said it's Aemon's dragon, Valor, that he basically kind of took out from under Daemon's children, which... all's fair. That kid was so like, an eye for a dragon? Yeah, I'm okay with it. That was great.
And yes, Sierra, you are absolutely correct. It did not make any sense. I think we talked about this last time. It was my main reason for not wanting to get into House of the Dragon right away, was because we were talking about how the Benioff brothers were they were rushing through. Are they brothers, or was it D.B. Weiss and David Benioff? No, it was two people, not brothers. But anyway, we were talking about how they were rushing through because they thought for sure they were going to be on, I think, a Star Wars project.
Yeah, that's right. And then when they saw the finished product, they got fired from the Star Wars project.
And I had to allow this quote because it said it had contained race. But it didn't make sense that Arya was the one to kill the White Walker when it should have been Jon Snow. Yes, Jon Snow as well. Yeah, HBO had went to them and said, listen, do you need more time? We'll do another season, because obviously this show had, their biggest numbers of any other show. And they were like...
You want more episodes for the season? You can have them.
Nah, we want to get to our Star Wars project. And then they lost that out because of how poor that, was. But you're right, Sierra. He was the prince that was promised. He was the one who was supposed to end the threat from the north, and it was actually Arya.
They keep talking about it here in House of the Dragon because they keep constantly bringing up the Song of Ice and Fire. And they keep talking about like, oh yes, he's the one that's going to. It's like almost like the whole Anakin thing, like the one who will bring balance to the Force.
And honestly, I would say we'll find out a different ending when
I think the word that got censored was Arya.
No, I think it was because kill the White Walker. Huh. I think it saw kill and white in the same sentence and thought it was something.
Oh, okay.
Aegon, and yes, Brian, I am a nightmare walking, psychopath talking, king of my jungle, just a gangster walking, with a life like a firecracker, quick as my fuse. Vendetta is a debt, that's the colors I choose. Red and blue, colors of blood, it just don't matter.
Now we got no viewers, Keith. Stop.
Oh my God, sorry. The only thing worse than me singing is me rapping. And yes, but that first Hunter Walker goes with the iced tea colors, and now he's doing the Eddie Murphy C-I-L-L, my landlord. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Now, anything else House of the Dragon. I know Tundra Walker's going to be dropping off here in 2 minutes, so yes, you could anytime. I have a weird, I don't want to call it a disease, but it's an ailment. Whenever I see song lyrics, I have to break out instantly into song and or rapping. It's a terrible affliction. I'm hoping that we raise enough money.
It doesn't hurt Keith. It hurts the rest of us.
That's true.
It really does.
I'm really hoping that the telethon raises enough money to get a cure this year, because for you guys, not for me.
If anything, it actually improves Keith's health greatly.
yes, it does. I cannot wait for the House.
House of the Wolf? What?
What's that?
Is that the Jon Snow sequel series you're talking about?
Oh, is that the rumored name of it?
The Starks.
Huh. All right.
Like Tony Stark.
Yes, exactly like Tony Stark. They're going to do
And
an
Howard
entire
Stark.
series set around the Stark family, and it'll be really mundane. Howard Stark will be like, oh well, I just ran this experiment, and that'll be the whole episode.
Well, I mean, they're doing a Pennyworth series on freaking HBO.
I have not watched that, and I don't even know if I have any intention on watching it. And I think they announced I think they said watch season 2 of Pennyworth. I'm like, it's already been that many?
Right, they have 2 seasons? Holy shit. Now, we're tangenting again, Keith, by the way.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Hold on.
Isn't Michael Caine the one who came up with Alfred's backstory, or did he already have one?
No, he had one in the comics. There was a whole, because for the longest time, Alfred was just Alfred, and then I can't remember the actual writer who did it, but he gave him that he was part of the British Secret Service, M1 and all of that. So it's been around in the comics for a while, and they're kind of, sometimes bring it into kind of the best iteration of Alfred, that with him being a part of M1 was, hey, good night, Tundra Walker. We will definitely talk later about House of the Dragon, but there was, I think it wasn't the Batman. There was one season of this Batman cartoon that was on Cartoon Network. Mm-hmm. And Dave, Nubis, 2021 is going to steal your drum set.
Nope.
and thank you. We attempt to be as authentic as possible. I think our programming really makes us appear very human.
What are you talking about, Skrull?
Yeah, you're a Skrull. What are you talking about?
For those of you that don't know,
human. He's right. He appears human.
Doug's all about secret invasion. I mean, the Skrulls aren't invading soon.
No, it's obviously the Kree. Okay, come on. Everyone knows they're the baddies.
They're violent. They're hyper, warmongering. It's definitely the Kree.
They're trying to invade Kree space. Okay, we claimed it first.
That's right. I like how you said "we" finally.
I mean, Skrulls claimed it first. Not we.
We've tangented so much, I don't remember what our first tangent point was.
I don't either. But Anubis did say he cannot wait for Black Adam. I'm kind of looking forward to Black Adam too, because like I said earlier, we do have a giveaway coming onto our YouTube channel tomorrow for JSA Black Adam, Black Rain.
Black Adam.
Black Adam.
Midwestern in there.
Don't make me be all cool and call him Tef Adam, like he was back in the days in Canada. And the one thing that I will say that I really am happy about that it seems like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson did is get Henry Cavill and WB back together. And if rumors are to be believed, Henry Cavill is going to show up in the post-credit scene. I don't want to ruin much more.
I saw a rumor today that Warner Brothers didn't want Harry. What's his first name? Henry
Cavill.
I saw a rumor today that they didn't want him back.
Dave, how do you not remember his name? He is the one true Superman.
And even though The Rock brought them back together, they still didn't want him back. This is what I saw. These are rumors. They're all rumors right now.
Yeah, it's hard to know what is actually going on, but I want a Superman movie. a good Superman movie. I was not a fan of Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, all that stuff. It's just
they just don't. They got Batman. They didn't get Superman.
Yep.
Not every superhero is dark and brooding. Superman represents hope.
I don't even think they really got Batman at least in the more recent movies. Previously, sure.
Batman versus Superman? No, they didn't get him.
No.
But in the Christian Bale's Batmans?
Yes, in Christian Bale, absolutely. But also, I would say in Superman Returns, they got Superman.
I would too. I thought Superman Returns was a damn good movie.
Oh, it was a really good movie.
And yes, Sierra, I am with you. Robert Pattinson was a really good Batman. I still love that movie.
Oh my God, I forgot the movie existed.
Wow. And I love the fact that they started him out. He has so much room to grow. You know, he's not the the world's finest detective.
No, he was kind of dumb.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Like when he came to that the door of Falcone 2 times, once as Bruce Wayne and once as Batman, he used the same voice. Mm-hmm. That's how you know he's got room to grow.
Yes.
Yeah. Batman would not do that.
There was one. Oh, there's a point I was going to make. I can't remember now. Oh, Sierra had said that they're mad that he switched to Marvel, and there is that rumor out there that Doctor Doom is going to show up, and he's going to be played by Henry Cavill. And
that would be.
I just think if he is coming back as Superman now, The Witcher, and Doctor Doom, man is never going to have any free time. But I'm still not sold that he's playing Doctor Doom. That has not been confirmed. Obviously, Marvel, if the rumor is true that he is showing up in a post-credit scene of Wakanda Forever, they're not going to say anything about casting him or anything else till after, because they want it to be a huge surprise. But like everything, things leak all the time.
Yeah. Oh well, while we're on the while we're kind of sort of on the topic of rumors of casting, do we want to talk about what was formerly a rumor and now has been finally, I guess, confirmed as far as MCU casting?
Yes, do it, Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk. You got a picture?
I don't. I was going through things to put on today, and I forgot about that, yes. But the rumor is that Harrison Ford is taking over for William Hurt as General Thaddeus Ross, which people who have read the comics know that he becomes the Red Hulk. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they have decided to hire another 80-year-old man to play Ross, I think we're all in agreement. He's not in it for the long term. I think he signed a one-picture deal. It was like, sure, I'll do a Marvel movie. How much you paying me? Do any of my grandkids
Thunderbolts and I'm out?
So just so you know, yes, it was up until 2 days ago. It was still considered a rumor that he had been hired. It is now absolutely confirmed. IGN is reporting it. Collider's reporting it. Slash Film, all of the big names in nerdy reporting, they're all saying that he has been that Thunderbolt Ross has been recast.
Most importantly, we are reporting it.
Yes,
we are.
That's what I was going to say.
As everybody knows, we are 100% correct every time, all the time. Every time we stream, 24/7, never stop. 8 days a week.
We've never been wrong.
Nothing's a theory. It's always right.
And yes, Carrie. Right. Yes, Carrie. He's definitely going to die in that movie. I can't see Harrison Ford signing like an 8-picture deal with Marvel to keep showing.
It's got to be in his contract. I'm like, all right, and kill me off.
And
Sam Jackson's got a 9-picture deal, and he's 73.
But you know how Harrison Ford is. He's probably like telling him, and I just want a 1-picture deal because I wanted to die in Empire Strikes Back, and Lucas wouldn't because of damn toy sales. You guys are going to kill me, right? Oh, yeah, just show up for this one movie. We'll kill you. Okay, I'm out of here. It's like American Idol.
We need you to be on a TV show, too. We need you to be on Armor Wars. Nope, can't do it.
Armor Wars is now a movie.
That's right.
While we're on tangent time, there was a great article put up by My Cosmic Circus of Vin. He puts up a lot of great reading list for movies that are coming up. I always try to retweet them and kind of read the comics that he brings up to prepare for movies and stuff. But he has a theory that Doctor Doom is going to be one of the main antagonists of the Armor Wars movie. And he has it all lined up, why it's going to happen that way. And a lot of it has to do with another... Did I add that picture? I didn't add the picture. But another rumor coming up. You know what? Let's do this. Let's go. We'll switch to tangent time of She-Hulk because we're talking Marvel. But a new rumor that just started circulating yesterday or the day before is that Sacha Baron Cohen is going to play Mephisto in Ironheart. And I know what everyone out there is saying right now. Why on earth would Mephisto show up in Ironheart? Well, we know the villain in this movie has confirmed to be the Hood, who is basically a gangster who gets demonic powers. And who could give someone demonic powers? Yes.
Mephisto!
That's right. So things are lining up. And once again...
Hi, my name is Mephisto.
Oh, very nice. But this whole theory about Doctor Doom being in Armor Wars, basically being against Ironheart and War Machine, is that, Doctor Doom in the comics at one time, he becomes the infamous Iron Man. He gets some Stark tech and he goes around trying to be a hero, like he's been redeemed. And he kind of takes over as Iron Man. It obviously doesn't work out well because we know Victor has an ego that does not stop. But part of this theory is that because Mephisto is involved with the magic, we know the one thing about Doom, for those of you that are familiar with Doctor Doom, Victor Von Doom, he is not as smart as Tony Stark, but he's a very intelligent man. Less so than Tony Stark and Reed Richards, but he builds his own armor. He has all of his tech, but he's also, on par with Doctor Strange with magic. Yes. So he's got technology and magic. And we know that Kevin Feige had said that Ironheart is going to be technology versus magic. So we're going to get Ironheart versus the Hood with tech and magic. And so Armor Wars could lead into Doom coming in to take on basically Ironheart and War Machine because he, wants to be the tech leader, or they think he stole Tony Stark's, designs. And I think hopefully if they do it right, he won't be the villain who steals Tony Stark's designs. He will have his own, but they're so good that everyone will think he took them from Tony Stark.
Now, going back to the comments real quick, Carrie, I believe she was talking about Sacha Baron Cohen being chosen to play Mephisto.
No, you said it right the first time.
What?
You said it right the first time. It's Cohen, not Conan.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so that's kind of interesting. But I remember when Keith had told us in our chat, I was like, yeah, I think that's a good fit for him. Like, I think because I've seen him play serious roles along with playing funny roles, comedic roles. So I know that he's capable of switching like on a dime. Like he can act like a goofball, like maybe lead someone in or whatever. But he could also turn on some sort of slick kind of acting in order to get someone to sign a contract for case of Peter giving up his wife.
We could even see him kind of working Justin Hammer.
Ooh.
Hey, you want some? You want your tech to work
Really
as good as Stark? Yes. Because I do hope. Sticking to my theme, I can't remember the actor's name who plays Justin Hammer, but
Sam Rockwell.
Yeah, Sam Rockwell. That would be fantastic. I'd be very happy. But yeah, I do.
The actors' names, not the characters.
Yeah. That's why we're on here. I remember the characters. Dave remembers the actors. Doug fills us in all the backstory. It's all coming together, gentlemen.
It's all kind of, sort of coming together.
But
it's like an IKEA furniture, missing a few screws.
Had a few extra from that one. Don't have as many here.
I don't need any tools.
All right, but hey, let's talk She-Hulk Season 1 finale.
Dave, you go first.
I hope it's the series finale. That show is terrible.
See,
That's all I'm going to say.
I
I'm
enjoyed
not going
it.
to just sit here and berate it.
They did a great job of it being incredibly meta, for one thing. Kind of sticking to the sort of comics run when Byrne did it and how she breaks the fourth wall and changes everything.
I thought that was
Did
great.
your head explode?
See, that doesn't work on a TV show for me. I don't think that works.
No, right. And like I always say, it's subjective. You didn't like it. I'm not going to tell you why you're wrong because you didn't like it.
My head did not explode. I just didn't like it. And
but it was so great.
That was a capper for like the last 2 episodes that were pretty all right, almost average, and then to go to this garbage, just complete garbage. I mean, even after they changed everything, she stepped out and did all that. I know they do that in the comics, so like whatever. But they get to the end and like this is supposed to be after everything's changed, and the Hulk shows up with Scar. That's a terrible way to introduce a character. Terrible.
Now, I will agree with you on that. I did not like the way he's like, hey, and here's my son. I was like, oh, that was... But I really enjoyed the fact that she went to Kevin and was like,
yes.
I mean, it's my show. Why is the Hulk jumping in to try to save me? And none of this makes any sense. I mean, can we do something? And he's like, okay, well, we can change this and that. But I also love the fact when she's like, oh, and when are we getting the X-Men? She like looks at the crowd like...
That was good. I will say the one thing that I was kind of disappointed with is that the whole blood thing didn't really go anywhere because she didn't want it to go anywhere. She's like, no, this is stupid. We've done this thing like so many times. Why is it always got to be about like, why? I am glad that they didn't stick with the whole Todd turning himself into a Hulk. I thought that would have been kind of dumb, and it wouldn't have made sense compared to with like what Bruce had said in the first episode, that there was something that was a little unique or special about them that turns them into Hulks, whereas when what's his name, Abomination,
Emil,
when Emil did it, like he turned into this even more monstrous thing, like not even really a Hulk, it was an abomination, if you will. So like I thought it was a little weird that they were going to go, okay, well Todd's a Hulk now, and it's like I like Keith's theories better. I like with his idea of intelligentsia is taking it and they're going to give it to the leader, and then they're going to develop it into like the super soldier formula and accidentally create more Hulks and things like that. So I am glad that they didn't stick with the whole Todd turning himself into a Hulk as like the canon ending. That would have been stupid. But yeah, I just wish they would have acknowledged that something was happening with it.
Yeah, the way that the whole after she went and talked to Kevin,
it wrapped up so quick.
Yeah, it wrapped up too quickly. I mean, it's like they're arresting Todd, and Daredevil just falls out of the sky to hang out with them. And I'm like, okay, was that Kevin manipulating the story again? And I was just like, as much as I enjoyed the episode with the fourth wall break and going super meta on the fourth wall break, I was like, oh, they could have spent 10 more minutes to add a little more.
I will say I loved Pug infiltrating the intelligentsia meeting. That was great.
Hey, this guy works with her.
Like, I mean, all the guys in that room are so stupid that they can't tell that he's faking and acting. Come on. They could tell.
Yeah,
it was painfully clear that he was uncomfortable with everything he was saying.
Dave,
and they couldn't figure that out. These people are stupid.
Dave, I need you to take a look at the Facebook group Marvel Sword posting. The idiots that were on that show literally exist in that group, and I watch it constantly and laugh so hard because they are identical. It's literally like a one-to-one comparison. I'm like, oh my god, these people exist in real life.
Like they would buy, if they were in that situation, they would buy that kind of...
Oh, guaranteed. Guaranteed. They're morons.
The whole thing they're saying, I don't like, Lady Thor or whatever. I'd say the same thing if she was a dude. No, you wouldn't. You're hating on her because she's a woman and then saying you'd say the same thing. But it does seem like we're getting... So here's the question for everybody. What show was better, Moon Knight or She-Hulk? And it looks like Sierra likes Moon Knight better. I definitely like She-Hulk better.
I would definitely say Moon Knight. Even though I didn't like Moon Knight. She-Hulk was probably the worst MCU TV show. Doug, weigh in there, buddy.
I would say She-Hulk. Moon Knight was fine, but I don't know. I spent more of the series trying my best to like make excuses because I was so hyped for it. I thought it was going to be so much better than what it was. And I remember I would watch the episodes and I kept saying the same thing, like, this should have been a binge thing. This should not have been released weekly. There's no reason for me to wait to watch this episode. And it was so tough to watch it. So much of it, I'm still not convinced that the Moon Knight series or the things that occurred, either I'm not convinced that they happened, at least not in the way that they're saying they are, or I'm not convinced that it is part of this universe within the MCU. Because, like, I'm still questioning the whole, when Khonshu moved all the stars and, like, nobody mentioned it at all. Like, it's something that just, like, nobody happened to bring up, the fact that literally all the planets and the stars were moving at the speed of light, across the night sky, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess that's just what happens now. And, the fact that none of these gods appeared, at least none that I noticed, in Thor: Love and Thunder. So it's like, I don't even know where this fits in the MCU. They didn't even mention any of the other characters from the MCU. It was very irritating to watch. It was like tooth grinding. I kept trying my hardest. I'm like, okay, well, maybe the next one will be better. Maybe the next one will be better. And okay, this kind of cool thing happened, but the rest of the episode was a dud. And it was like when what's her name? His girlfriend, God, I can't think of her name now. When she got her goddess powers and everything, I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool. The rest of the episode's kind of dumb. Oh, we have a giant kaiju god battle. That's super stupid, but whatever. Like, I tried to like it. So I will say,
don't get me wrong,
too, I chuckled more at She-Hulk. It was dumb, but it was supposed to be dumb, and so I will give it a pass on that.
See, yeah. I don't think it was dumb in the way that they wanted it to be dumb. I think it was dumb as in none of it made me laugh. Not a single joke landed, and if it's supposed to be a comedy, take some hits from old comedy shows. Don't just throw together a bunch of insults, and they're not funny, and out of place fight scenes. Just completely awkward situations that probably would never happen. So there's no way you could have a compare it to an actual conversation you had in your life, because this situation would never happen. And then there's a lot of hypocrisy in there. I don't want to get too dark, so I just won't go into that. But there's a lot of I'm talking about She-Hulk, obviously. Why did they hire writers who didn't know how to write court scenes? And why did they make up some
I don't know. I think that was a poor move on their part. I was expecting more court drama.
At least what you do in court, since it's a lawyer show, at least have what you do in court make sense. All right, even if she ends up with a funny situation, they totally skipped the part that made sense, and so it wasn't funny. And I didn't like the way they brought in Daredevil, because and Charlie Cox even said this Daredevil has nothing to do with the show coming up. So it's like, okay, does this show exist outside?
When did he say that? I don't remember him saying
that. He said that right before his appearance. He says the appearance on the show has nothing to do with his upcoming show. I mean, I
thought he was talking about his appearance in his Netflix series. So I know that he had referenced that. He had mentioned that the two shows.
No, he was talking about Born Again.
Yeah. No, he said the character he's playing is not the character he played in the Netflix show.
I know, but he said this about his appearance in She-Hulk had nothing to do with Born Again.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So it's not like a lead into
that
show either. So if it's not a lead into that show, if it doesn't have anything to do with what he's doing with that show, then what is this? Is this whole show like kind of like a Joker thing where it could have happened in an alternate universe in her head or something? It doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't that be part of it?
With all of the fourth wall breaks and everything, it is really hard to say, like, what is going to be considered, like, hard canon from this series. I'm not sure.
And I think some of it may be sort of light canon. Like, they will admit that, Jennifer Walters and Charlie Cox met and, did what they did or whatever. But for me, the difference between the two shows is Moon Knight was always a street-level hero with these supernatural sort of undertones. We knew about it, the god Khonshu who brought him back to life, but not little else was known. He was just like, and this just went full on 100% with the supernatural vibe. And it really wasn't like what I was expecting from, what the comic book character is. I really hope he gets back to more of his roots where he's more a street-level hero, maybe joining the Midnight Suns, something like that. And that's the only reason why I think She-Hulk, was so much better, because I'm going to send a little panel here from one of my favorite authors in comics was John Byrne. And, during his run on the comics, she's like yelling at him, the writer, saying, what kind of game are you playing? And she's like, Jennifer, it's already inked in color. The only person out there is a reader. You're not getting it burned. And this sort of had that same vibe, only not to the same level. Did I like She-Hulk better? Yes. Do I think it could have been a heck of a lot better? 100%.
I have a question. Who wrote Daredevil, not Daredevil, I'm sorry. Deadpool did the same thing, where Deadpool killed the Marvel Universe, and at the end he goes through and kills all the writers. Who wrote that? Was that Byrne as well?
It was not. That was hilarious. I'd have to look, but yeah. And Byrne was really the first one to write a character that was such breaking of the fourth wall. She would constantly be looking at him and go, seriously, Frogman? You're sending me? This after me? And it was just, so, this was in the 80s. I think it was 88 it came out. It was so groundbreaking. And this show tried to do that. It tried to be 30 Rock. It tried to be the Byrne run on She-Hulk. And it was neither. But I still, it was still enjoyable for me at least.
Cullen Bunn, it says, whoever that is. I don't think I've ever seen other work by that person.
I love this panel. This is great.
But yeah,
crawling out of a comic book.
Who would have thought? Well, in the scene in the movie when she jumps out of the Disney Plus thing, that was totally. She used to do that in the comics all the time. She's like, I don't have money for a flight. Oh, I'll just jump through the panels in the comic and show up like in New York or something. So. I thought that was...
Hey, they could have did that with the Wonder Woman movie.
You're right. Would have made more sense.
Yeah, it would have made more sense.
Oh, and we did get an update from Tundra Walker. The next episode picks up the morning after the king died on House of the Dragon.
Ooh. Spoilers.
Spoiler alert, yes. But that was...
I will definitely have to... I will try to. Yeah, since I'm not. I don't think I have anything else to watch. I'll watch it maybe before bed tonight. I'll see if I can get finish up the last episode and then the new one.
Have we always rated the series as they ended? Is it time to rate the She-Hulk?
Yeah, we always do. I think it is a good time. But before we do, let me just answer Sierra. She says, "So She-Hulk will be present for Daredevil?" I don't think so. I think She-Hulk is going to next appear in Captain America: New World Order, helping. Sam Wilson fight the leader and stuff. And I think Daredevil is going to kind of go his own way. We're going to see him with Wilson Fisk, Echo, possibly Jessica Jones, be more street level. And if we believe the rumor, that's going to lead into Spider-Man 4 with Daredevil, Spider-Man, and the Kingpin. So,
that'd be great. That'd be so good.
And the other part of that rumor was it was going to adapt Charles Soule's run on Daredevil when the Kingpin runs for mayor. And what all comes from that. So that was a great run. I hope that's true. And as much as, I enjoy heroes like Daredevil popping up in silly comics sometimes. I think Charlie Cox did a great job. But Daredevil Born Again is not going to be a silly comedy show whatsoever. So if She-Hulk...
If that does end up being the case, if they base Daredevil Born Again on that run, we'll have to see if we can get a graphic novel collection of some of those issues and do that as a giveaway.
Well, I think it's going to incorporate a little bit of the Frank Miller
The actual,
Born Again
yeah.
adaptation, along with some things from Charles Soule, because we know they never do direct adaptations. And I can't remember if we talked about it before, but a lot of people think that the Born Again is going to be that Charlie Cox blipped, and the Kingpin did not.
I think that's a great idea.
I think it would be too. Again, I don't know because, like I said, I did. I heard what he was saying, like in an interview, about how he said don't think that the Netflix Daredevil is going to be the same character as Daredevil in the new series. They're basically two different characters, and so I don't know how true that is. I don't really know what what Marvel is going to decide is canon and is not. I don't know if it's going to be like a thing like, well, there's just slight variations on the two different universes. Like in one universe he beats the shit out of Kingpin, and another one he doesn't. I don't know.
And we'll see.
Yeah, we will have to wait and see, because I really don't know. The Netflix series was amazing. They did such a good job with that series. I've rewatched it a couple of times because it's so good.
Especially the third season was amazing.
I want that big shock. I can't remember his name. The actor who played Bullseye. I want him back too, because that fight scene, basically between Daredevil, Bullseye, and the Kingpin, was magnificent. That was so perfectly choreographed. Bullseye has a really weird power where he never misses. And to kind of play that into that, they did a great job with showing that and, being true to it. So I would love for all that to come together and them all come back and Born Again and finish out. Well, it's a different character, but, kind of finish out what they did. But should we go into the next little round of Marvel news that we were going to talk about before we get into Rings of Power? Yeah. Because, we have some viewers here, and I got a feeling.
Do I need to make a graphic for Marvel news?
Oh, maybe at some point. I just kind of got some text here, but...
Well, wait, we didn't rate it yet.
Oh, you're right. Oh, dang, sorry. Forget you saw this, people.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Keeping us honest.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we let Dave go first?
Yeah, I'm not going to have to explain. I already went on my little diatribe, so I'm just going to give it a 2. Terrible show.
I'll go next, since we'll do the 2 high ends first. Cause I got a feeling you're going to be the lowest, I'm going to be the highest, and Doug's going to be somewhere in the middle. Probably. But I did enjoy it. Do I think it could have been better? 100%. I think it could have been a lot funnier. I think it could have been a lot better. I think we got excellent. Tatiana was great as Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk. Jamil Jamai, or I can't sure what her name is, as Titania, I thought was great. Ruffalo, when he was in there, he was good. Charlie Cox did a great job as Daredevil. I just think overall, it could have been a lot better. And so for that, on the Doug scale of 5 being an average, and I was a little lower before, but I think with the final, it kind of jumped up. I'm going to give it a 6.5.
6.5, huh?
Well, and, Doug, are you going to be the double stuff in our Oreo here?
Yeah. So Keith pretty much hit the nail on the head as far as kind of where we were all going to lie. Yeah, I'd say, using the Doug scale, I would have to give it an average score of very average, 5. There were a couple of points that made me chuckle. There are a couple of things that I said, oh, that's really cool. There were some scenes that I was like, some individual scenes that I will say that I enjoyed. And there were a couple of full-on episodes that I really liked. I'd say the entire episode with Madison was probably one of my favorites. And then I really loved the Daredevil episode where he showed up. Thought that was great. So that's the only thing that's kind of like pushing it up to that like average point for me. Yeah, a lot of it was, it could have been a lot better. I totally agree with you, Dave, that they probably should have focused more if they were going to be making a courtroom drama comedy thing where they're going to focus on Jen's career. as being a lawyer more so than focusing on her being a superhero, because she says right away, I do not want to be an Avenger. I do not want to be a superhero. This is not my life. I went to law school. I want to be a lawyer. I wish they would have focused a little bit more on that, and I would have loved to see more stuff in the courtroom and her coming up with like different ways to, face these different things. I was expecting it to be more like Harvey Birdman. Like, I think I had described that show to you guys before, where it was literally Harvey Birdman. He was formerly the superhero Birdman, and he's now defending all these Hanna-Barbera characters in court, including, and it was funny because he was also defending some members of the Super Friends.
Yeah, Harvey Birdman did a great job. If this would have had more elements of Harvey Birdman,
yes,
it would have definitely been better. I mean, it definitely. And Carrie gave it a 3 because I think Jen was well cast, and I at least think it offered a reveal for Hulk and Abomination was great. I think we're all in agreement.
Oh, yeah. I really liked that episode with Emil at his ranch. I thought that was a good episode, too. I
think it was a good Abomination episode, though. It was more of an Emil episode.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. Uh-huh. I like getting to know who he is outside of just being an Abomination, and I absolutely loved the fact that he gave more depth to his character when he was on trial, or not on trial, I guess, in front of the board to determine whether he would be released or not. I love that he said, well, I was the villain from your point of view, but I only did what your government told me to do. Yeah. He says, from my standpoint, I was the good guy. I was coming in to save the city from a raging Hulk monster, a science experiment gone on. I loved that. I am glad they did that.
Actually, that was a great...
it really was. I love
when they had synopsis or whatever. That was good.
And while we're talking about Abomination, how about the post-credit scene with Wong coming and getting him out of prison and basically coming and living at Carmitage?
0 out of 10. That end credit scene sucked. There's no Madison.
She was there. We're going to see her. But I thought that was interesting because I think we all thought that Abomination was definitely probably going to show up in like a Thunderbolt type thing. And now are we going to, with the rumored introduction of Mephisto, are we going to see maybe Abomination teaming up with, Wong as the Sorcerer Supreme, maybe Ghost Rider if we, get him coming in or something? I thought that was a very interesting way to go with Abomination. We knew they had, worked together before because obviously Wong broke him out of jail before. But this time it seems like he's keeping him out. He's not going to bring him back. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes because we have no known projects with Wong or Doctor Strange or anything on those lines that we know of at this point. Obviously, there's a lot of Phase 6 that is still open for stuff, but we haven't heard any of it yet.
Hey, Doug, did you see Sierra's comment?
I see it. I was waiting for Keith to finish. I didn't want to interrupt him. And, yes, Sierra, I'm really looking forward to it. No helmet is fine. And, I kind of like the look that he had for his hair in Love and Thunder with the braids. That was kind of sweet.
Okay, now segueing from Marvel to Marvel, we did get some unfortunate news. Blade has been delayed. Obviously, they lost the director. I don't think that was a surprise at all, but it has been delayed till September 6th, 2024.
Look, they've got to film those Morbius scenes.
Yes. Jared Leto is going to be on. He's going to handle it. Deadpool.
Wait a minute, I thought Deadpool... Oh, go ahead.
It was. So Deadpool 3, which was originally going to be September 6th, 2024, is now going to be November 8th, 2024, which I think is funny. We just got that announcement for Deadpool like a week ago, and it's already been changed.
Is everything delayed because of Blade?
Not everything. Fantastic Four is now moving to February 14th of 2025. Okay. The untitled Marvel film is going to be November 7th, 2025, which was the Secret Wars time slot. So that has been moved to May 1st, 2026. So we're no longer getting 2 Avengers movies in 2025.
Boo.
Right. And the only thing that stayed the same, really, was Kang Dynasty is staying at May 2nd, 2025. So a lot of shuffling.
Very few scenes in those movies that are going to affect the Kang Dynasty. And they could probably just change any after credit scene that they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And Carrie's got another
Carrie's
commercial.
got another commercial. Jeez.
Counting that money, boys. Counting that money.
Oh, I can't wait to dive into my pool of solid gold coins.
It's going to be awesome.
You know, it's like a solid surface when you actually do it, right? It's gonna hurt.
This is not a liquid at all.
The pain. This looked so much more fun on DuckTales. Why am I hurting so bad?
So yeah, did we already? I don't remember if we talked about that, because the last time we streamed would have been last Sunday, right? Did we talk about the whole what Jared Leto said?
No, I don't think we did. Not on the stream. I think we're going to talk about it on Wednesday. Then, unfortunately, we. And while we're talking, we will not be streaming this Wednesday for Let's Play. We will be going to see Black Adam Thursday night with our At the Theater spoiler-free review of Black Adam. I'm sure it's going to be great, because everything DC does is great. I mean, Wonder Woman 84 won, like, all the Oscars.
Oh, boy.
As it deserved them.
Let me tell you about Wonder Woman 84. You know how Dave just went on a rant talking about She-Hulk and how much he did not like that? Let me tell you about Wonder Woman 84 and how much I disliked that. What is that, Keith? You're muting me? Oh,
I would never mute you. I think what Doug is trying to say, with Wonder Woman 84, they were shitting in his mouth and calling it a Sunday. Am I accurate? Is that what you think?
Yeah, pretty accurate.
That's going to sum up the next 4 hours, Keith, if we let him go.
Right, we don't want him talking about it, because hearing him rant about it is almost as bad as seeing the movie. For Christ's sake.
We're going to make him sit in a room, watch Wonder Woman 84 and the Snyder Cut, just on loop.
But while we're talking about shitty actors, I think Doug was bringing up Dave's favorite, Morbius. Dave is like, he has the platinum version of the DVD. He's rented out theaters to watch it again. He made his poor daughters watch it. And I think they still are saying he's not getting a Father's Day present just for making them watch that movie.
Oh, boy. I gotta see if I can find the article again. I don't remember, oh, boy.
Well,
I'll summarize rather than...
Bix was in that movie, though.
What's that?
Bix was in Morbius.
Oh.
Even she couldn't save that steaming pile of trash.
Yeah, so, okay, let's talk about that for just a moment. Are we still doing Tangent Time with She-Hulk?
I didn't have another thing to do for Tangent Time, and we were talking everywhere.
What's up, fellow nerds?
Good idea. Thanks, Doug. Oh,
We should do that one. But anyway, yeah, so the, oh, this
there. Now are you happy, Doug? I got the
Yes.
What's Up, fellow nerds, just for you.
Much happier. I feel better because we are not tangenting off of She-Hulk. Okay, thank you, Gilbert. God. So, anyway, no. So the news that came out, Jared Leto was in an interview, and he was talking about how he was actually excited that Blade got delayed, and here's why. He was excited because he is convinced that Morbius did so well and that the fans loved it so much because it jumped up to like #1 for like a couple of days on Netflix because people
I believe it was just Dave watching it. He watched it like 400 times in a day.
On repeat.
He's like, how many different streams of Morbius can I get in my house? My TV, my iPad, my phone. I'm watching it on as many screens as I can. And Netflix was like, holy cow, this guy really likes this movie.
I don't know if anybody watching right now knows that they can go back and look at the theater review and see. I rated it a 5, okay? I didn't give it a 10 or anything.
The fact that you rated it more than me.
She-Hulk. God dang.
I did. I still do like Morbius better than She-Hulk, so. There.
It was one of the few times you rated something higher than me. That's why we keep talking about it, Dave, because you hate everything, and I love everything.
I do. I hate everything.
But No, so Jared Leto was excited because he now thinks that he can convince whoever is going to be the new, because they're going to be doing a bunch of rewrites. The reason why the director stepped down for Blade ended up coming out, there was a lot of creative differences that they were discussing, and even Kevin Feige looked at the initial script and said, "This is not going to work." So they're talking about doing a bunch of rewrites. They're talking about all of the stuff that they need to change in order to actually get to filming on Blade. And Jared Leto seems to think this is his opening to jump in and say, well, you know what's going to make it better? A team-up. We need to get Morbius in there. We need to do Morbin time. Morbius and Blade need to be in this movie. It's going to be amazing. And I've got all of these ideas. And I think he was serious. I think he was legitimately serious because I think somewhere in his mind, his ego has convinced him that Morbius was now a good movie.
I mean, let's face it, Jared Leto, the man who was such a method actor, he would walk with his limp to go to the bathroom on set and be gone for hours. That guy is a few tacos short of a combination platter. He should just stay away from Marvel, stay away from everything except do the Joker and his memes in the Snyder Cut on HBO Max or whatever it is.
He doesn't even need to be the Joker. Even
Terrible Joker.
Was that Teen Titans Go made fun of Jared Leto as Joker. I think it was Keith that shared that clip with us.
Yes, and my Gilbert is done, but yes, Teen Titans Go, which my son hasn't been watching it lately. Makes me sad because that show, like the Teen Titans Go to the Movies movie, is pretty dang funny. I was shocked at how much I enjoy that movie, and he never watches it anymore. They've got good dance, they got good sing parts, they got they got action, they got Kristen Bell, they got Slade Wilson. It's all good.
But yeah, to imagine for a moment, and yes, going back to like the whole Teen Titans thing, making fun of it.
Imagine for a moment, if you will.
Imagine for a moment that even Teen Titans Go, the weird, nonsense fest that is that entire show, of just goofy cartoon shenanigans, even them realizing, yeah, nobody liked Jared Leto as Joker. That was terrible. And I think they even made fun of Zack Snyder. But yes, they did. They did the Snyder Titans. And they were all like super edgelords and...
See, that show, it's better than She-Hulk.
Sure.
But we have some other news, too, that I almost forgot, and I'm glad. By the way, remember when I mentioned earlier that I didn't forget anything this time? I had updated everything correctly.
Uh-oh.
I did not send out our Facebook and Twitter that we are live. So I am just sending it out now that we are live. Thank you so much. I'm here all week. Whoops. I got to screw one thing up every day.
15 minutes left.
I had it
what? We still had like a bunch of viewers earlier, so we're doing all right.
No, I know. I had it all typed up and ready to go, and I completely forgot about it at 8 o'clock when we went live because I was getting my iPad over there all set up. But I don't have a picture because I forgot about it. But the other bit of news we found out earlier this week is that they are making an Invincible video game.
Oh, really?
So that is definitely something that we are going to be playing on our Let's Play Wednesday. Hopefully it's good because, we all kind of love that show. So let's hope.
Have we heard word on when season 2 is like, or, anything about it?
Just that they were filming it, and I think all of the voice work is done and the animation is done. And they went right into season 3, so it's already been renewed for season 3.
Oh, nice. All right. Cool.
But we have not heard anything about a release date, so I'm hoping it's early 2020. I almost said 2026. I don't know how that got in my head. But I hope it's early 2023, because, man, that show is freaking fantastic. And while we're talking about... Oh, go ahead, Dave.
Well,
is Marvel in a lull until Wakanda Forever now?
Yes.
Oh, man, that's terrible.
Wow.
Well, we have Andor. We have Tales of the Jedi, the shorts coming out on the 26th, which isn't next week.
Yeah.
I know. What they've shown looks so good, and I'm going to be so disappointed that it's only going to be like 6 shorts. We're probably going to get about 30 minutes of total content out of it all, and that's no good.
You know what I would love to see brought to animation? I would be totally cool with them turning it into a short.
Nope.
Was that one? There was this one story from the Vader comic run where he asks Tarkin to hunt him.
I'm Mr. Always Wants to Be Hunted. Hunt me.
It was Rick and Morty reference.
Yeah, another one.
But no, it's such a cool story because like to see like that's how Vader like actually grew some respect for Tarkin, and why it's supposed to help kind of explain why he would actually like when Tarkin says on the Death Star like Vader, release him at once as you wish. It's sort of like again, it's just showing that he's out of all of the Imperial officers, he actually respects Tarkin, and that's because he was like this close to actually getting him. It was such a good story. I would love to see it animated. It was great to read in the comics. I would love to see it animated.
I would love to see that too. That was a great run. I think it was 1 or 2 comics that it entailed, but it was so well done. And I would definitely that would be an excellent little like segue or just a one-off cartoon for Star Wars.
Make that a short.
Yeah.
If this ends up working out, and these shorts take off, then do that because and if you don't mind me just tangenting real quick into some other Marvel news.
Do it.
No, please.
So there is, I believe this is still a rumor right now. I don't think it's been confirmed, but there was some news that came out from, I would say, some pretty reliable sources saying that the MCU, Kevin Feige, was very pleased with how well Werewolf by Night did, and they're hoping that if the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special does just as well, they're looking at putting out more shorts for Marvel characters.
Not shorts, but special presentations. Little one-offs.
Special things. Yeah, so the reason why I'm saying, kind of in the similar vein as shorts, because rather than being full-length movies or entire seasons of a show, they would be like, 70-minute special presentation things. In a sense, I would consider them Marvel shorts in a way. Because to me, they're shorter than a movie for the most part. Yeah, in one shot, kind of, yeah. But I think it would be a good idea, and I kind of hope that this rumor does get confirmed, because I think there are some characters where we could use a little bit more backstory to, but they don't necessarily need an entire movie made.
Or an entire 6-episode season. Like Nova. We've heard Nova is getting, a show or something, maybe this special presentation, an hour of Nova, seeing his backstory, how he gets started. Absolutely. The Black Knight, Kit Harington's, character from Eternals, Dane Whitman, maybe he gets a show, maybe he shows up in Blade. Maybe Midnight Suns. The one thing I will say, when the Wonder Man series comes out, it better be 6 to 12 episodes, a couple movies, the whole kit and caboodle, because, he is the greatest superhero of all time.
They're going to give you a 20-minute special.
That would be terrible. The only thing
he can have his own arc within someone else's movie.
Someone else's show. He wouldn't even get his own special.
You better talk to your boy Feige, David. Make sure that does not happen.
And after he becomes Ionic, he'll just be a floating purple cloud.
Oh God!
And Keith would love it. Look at his face. He
I
loves
would.
that.
I'm getting AVG is popping up stuff. I thought it got onto our screen.
Here says that is terrible.
Yeah, but what was she referring to? Out of all that.
I just noticed it in the chat. I'm not sure what was terrible.
But speaking of terrible, let's talk Rings of Power. Now, I will say, episode 6 was an excellent episode. That's where kind of all these lines came together. I really enjoyed it. Episode 7 kind of slowed down a bit again.
Cool.
And I was like, okay, it still had some good things to it. It had some good character development. Some of these people, what happened to them and how they're going to move forward. I was like, okay, that makes sense. But it kind of brought things back down. And you see Mordor forming. I don't know if I told you, but in episode 6, all of this work that the orcs were doing with digging these holes, we all thought, at least I thought, they were just digging underground because they couldn't travel during the day because the sunlight was so bad. But they were digging, basically getting water into this volcano so it would cause it to erupt. And it was all part of their plan with bringing Sauron, or not Sauron, but bringing Mordor into the southern lands. So it was actually, did a good job. Once again, I think episode 7 could have been a little better. You know, we got Nori with the guy, the wizard or the meteor man kind of about and walking about. He kind of hurts Nori, and she's kind of turned off and thinks he might be a little bit evil, perhaps, but he's still kind of helping him out. And then we go into episode 8, which episode 8 was fantastic. They really did a tremendous job on kind of wrapping things up and building up for season 2. I hope this is a good sign for season 2 because basically they did a really good job with Elrond and the dwarves and Mithril and what needs to be done to save the elves and what has to do. And I'll get back to that in a minute because it was very interesting. And we find out that there's these, I don't know what I really want to call them, but they're all dressed all in white and they're hunting the meteor man, the wizard. And
Okay.
Did I just freeze? Oh, no.
Not to me.
Oh, okay.
No, you said they're all dressed in white and hunting a guy, so I said they're the KKK.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
but they finally, they send off this wizard because he had hurt Nori and stuff, and they send him off, and they're like, you know what? We better go after him because they run in Nori and the Harfoots kind of run into him, and they end up burning their village down, destroying everything. And so Nori's like, we better go warn them. These people are coming looking for him. And so they travel off and go to get him. And when they run into this wizard, they're like, Lord Sauron, we are yours to command. You're a little bit disoriented from what happened. You know, we know you were trying, I forget the guy's name, but the leader of the orcs right now tried to kill you, but you're back. And
Jerry.
we want to, yes, Jerry.
Jerry.
It's like they call him a Dar, a dad, orcish for dad, a Dar, but he tried to kill, he even claimed he killed Sauron. And so they're like, we're here to bring you back into power. You can't control your power right now. And, you know, the Harfoots kind of show up and they're trying to take these guys on. And, I mean, these people are going to wipe the floor with the Harfoots that showed up. And they ended up killing one of the elders. But this wizard kind of turns on him. And the one lady's like, perhaps we got it wrong. You are not Sauron. So I'm thinking it's Sauron. Which, why do they keep names so familiar to Lord of the Rings? Because remember, he came back. He was a wizard.
You need to get out a Ouija board and you need to ask J.R.R. Tolkien and find out why he decided to make Saruman and Sauron.
Yes. But right. I think it's Saruman and not Gandalf. But he turns out they're like, oh, we got this wrong. Sauron must be out somewhere else. And they did a good job of setting it up where you believe he's Sauron when they first come out. And he's just kind of disoriented and he's not sure what's going on. So then we kind of go back to the elves and the thing, and they're working with the Mithril. And, oh my God, I can't remember. Halbrand, who was like, they thought he was the king of the south because he had this symbol.
Okay.
And he starts working with these elves, saying, you know what we should do? We should find an alloy with the Mithril to build it out.
Unobtainium?
Unobtainium, yes. And he's like, you know, we should put it into a circle so it amplifies the power more, and we should do all this. And Galadriel is like, how do you know all this? And what's going on? And it seems like he's sort of mesmerizing these elves to kind of work for him. I forget, one's Elrond, but the other one who's like this high-level elf who, you know, has all these inventions and stuff. And she's like, goes to one and she goes, do me a favor. Get all you can on the lineage of the kings of the south or whatever. And she finally finds it, and she's like, listen, where did you get that from? He goes, I told you when we ran into each other that I found it. It wasn't mine. and you pushed me to this. I didn't want to do this. And
Damn.
she's like, wait a minute, you're Sauron. And he's like, yes, and I want you to rule with me. And there was a really great scene where they're standing together, and you see the reflections in the water, and he looks like, Sauron from the movies, and she's kind of this bathed in light queen, and it was really well done. And she's like, no, I would never, yada yada. And so he ends up, he's like, okay, I misread it, whatever. He takes off, but he still has. He did not. He has enough control over them that they still build the rings. So I thought they did a great job interweaving them building their 3 rings for the elves in with the mithril to save the elves, because the tree, they show a scene where one of the leaves from the tree kind of comes back to life when it's around a thing. So it was good. I really enjoyed the finale, and then at the end you just see Sauron basically traveling to Mordor. So I do believe he's going to go kill Adar next season and be like, yeah, you thought you could take me out, but yeah, I'm back. So it was actually, even though the first 5 episodes to get, it was a nice twist, and they played it really well. So I'm sorry I spoiled it for you, because I really enjoyed watching it, because I was like, they said in the finale all will be answered, but they still kind of tricked you a little bit with that first reveal that turned out to be false. But first 5 episodes was still a rough watch.
Mm-hmm.
But 6 and 8 were great episodes, and 7 was good, but pace could have been picked up a little bit.
Yeah, I gotta wonder. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
I was answering Carrie. She must have been on commercial when Keith was saying it wasn't Gandalf.
I don't think it could be Gandalf, but I'm thinking it's Sauron, only because if I remember correctly, Gandalf came after Sauron, and Sauron was good. If you remember in the Two Towers, when he runs in, Gandalf thinks he's an ally, and then he finds out he's been corrupted by Sauron.
But I wonder when that actually happened. Was it after he'd found that crystal?
Could be. I think so, but I'm not really sure. I got to go back and read the books.
Because I believe, and yeah, I think you're right. Saruman was around a lot longer, because I think he had obtained white status already by that point.
Yes, he was Saruman the White.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gandalf was still Gandalf the Grey in the Fellowship of the Ring.
One thing that I never quite understood from the whole Lord of the Rings series, and maybe it's because I never read anything outside of the original books, Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and Return of the King. And I read those books and I watched the movies, but every time they refer to them as wizards and stuff, I guess I've got more of a D&D concept of what a wizard is and stuff like that. So I barely see any magic being cast, I guess, by these characters, and it makes me wonder, what sort of power do they even have? What can they really do? I'm not seeing them, and I know this sounds silly, but I'm not seeing them shoot fireballs out of their staves, or I cast create lightning level 1, and
Doug, lightning is a 3rd level spell, not a 1st level spell. Come on, dude.
Well, my
actually. But you do see who I think is Sauron do some magic. He's he does use a little with fire. He creates ice to kind of cool his arm where it got burned, and he actually did when these wolves were attacking. He actually hits the ground and it sends out this pulse wave that knocks them all away. So we do see a little more of magic as
kind of like the Hulk.
Yes, exactly. A little more of magic in the sense of D&D magic than we did from the movies, pretty much.
Who is this that just joined?
They said, "How about them dragons?" Oh, we can't.
Oh,
we haven't seen it.
If you've watched this week's episode of House of the Dragon, no spoilers, but let us know how it is. We do know it starts with the morning after the king dies, and after he spills the beans about the Song of Ice and Fire to Alicent mistakenly.
Mm-hmm.
I think her last name was Wonderland, right?
We do not know yet. We haven't watched tonight's episode yet. We've been chatting since 8 o'clock Eastern time. So
Eastern Daylight Time.
yeah, whatever.
The last few times we're gonna do daylight savings.
Are you sure? Did that bill finally get passed?
As far as I know, it's next November or next spring is the last time we jump forward, and that's it.
Really? No kidding.
Wait, we're not going to end on a fall back? I would rather end on a fall back than a spring forward.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're gonna have daylight savings from now on, starting in the spring.
No, can't say I liked it, but enjoy. So it sounds like, and Tundra Walker texted me and said it was a bit slow this episode.
Oh, really? Interesting.
He said a little slow for his liking.
Okay. Well, I will be the judge of that.
Yes.
Did he like Ad Astra?
I don't know if he ever saw it. Yeah, he's a lot more, I think, along the lines with you, Dave, when it comes to a slow-paced movie. I don't think he's a fan. So he probably would not like Ad Astra. So, he has returned. Hey, Tundra Walker.
Carrie says, sounds like I'm right to walk away. So, Carrie, you were being serious. You're going to end House of the Dragon on a high note? You're going to stop watching the series now?
Or was she talking about Rings of Power? Because
I don't think she's seen Rings of Power yet.
I may. I think it's got to be House of the Dragon then.
Yeah.
Well, maybe watch this one. We can talk about it next week, and we'll see. Or at least... Oh, wait. There was a death, sex, and a dragon. That's all I can say.
That's like every episode.
Yeah.
Wait. They all involve the same person.
Wait, who had sex with the dragon?
That's what I mean. And then they died. And then they died because the dragon was too much for them.
I mean, it was so good. How do you top that much? It was a great episode. That last episode was tremendous. But, yeah, I will. I'm hoping it's 10 o'clock now. I might be able to. Who am I fooling? I'm exhausted. I won't be able to watch it tonight. Especially knowing it's a slower paced episode. I'll be like. But, watch it. Hopefully this season. I'm kind of shocked because normally the 9th, second to last episode of the season is where things get absolutely nuts. It sounds like they're saving it for maybe the finale, changing up how they kind of ran every season of Game of Thrones, which hopefully that means next Sunday we're in for a treat. It flew by.
The final.
No, next week. It flew by compared to Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. No, there's one more episode of House of the Dragon. Today was the 9th, and then next week is the 10th and season finale. And I do think that has already been renewed for season 2. I know Rings of Power has, but I'm almost positive.
Filming Rings of Power.
Yep.
They've dumped a lot of money into it. I would be surprised if they didn't renew it.
Yeah.
Well, I think they got 5 seasons on the hook, right? That's what they wanted to do, 5?
That is what their plan, yes, was 5 seasons. Let's see if that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But if the quality of the last 3 episodes continues through season 2 and throughout there, I think they may have, something on their hands.
So, Avexin, am I saying that right? It was definitely slow, but even more so, I thought that it was going to be the season finale. I was watching it thinking it was. That they were going to end it. Oh.
Right. How are they going to wrap this up? And then they don't.
Yes, one more episode next week, so don't judge episode 9 as the season finale. I think it's going to get a little... I thought it was going to get nuts this week, but it sounds like not so much. But and yes, Carrie, they have said 5 seasons. That's what their plan is for Rings of Power. And Jeff Bezos is a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so he may, even if they're losing money. But of course, they were sending out numbers that I saw something where they're like 100 million Prime subscribers have watched Rings of Power. And I'm like, wait, all the way through?
Right.
Or they turned it on for a minute. Or it started automatically when they logged in. They're like, got another viewer.
Is this like the same thing with like tracking YouTube views? They clicked on the video once for 1 second, and therefore that counts as a view.
Yeah, did they include me on that? Because I watched the first episode. Now, does that make me a viewer?
Yes.
Well, yes.
But now, what is the total watch time?
Yeah.
Because that's how they do a lot of the streaming sort of things. It's always how many minutes were watched. Because if someone turns on and they watch She-Hulk for a minute and go, nope, not watching it, that should only count as 1 minute of a view, not we had. So I come out for you in 2 hours. So it comes out. Oh no! It's out for us. We are in Eastern time. It's been out for an hour and 10 minutes, and we've just been streaming. Some of our viewers left to watch it and have come back, but we're going to. Well, Doug and I don't think Dave's watching it currently, but Doug's going to try to watch it tonight. I'm gonna seriously try and watch it, but my 6-year-old got me up really early this morning, and I just don't think I'm going to be able to. Especially knowing it's a slower paced show. That's one of those ones where I'm like, I'll try to watch this. And I'm like, oh, darn it.
So, yeah, we always...
Frank does not agree. Go ahead, Doug.
Oh, I was saying, so we always stream, for the most part, we almost always stream every Wednesday and every Sunday. And we were doing Sunday night streams prior to House of the Dragon starting up. So it just, it happens that it comes on around the same time that we do stream. We always stream for approximately 2 hours-ish on Sunday nights. But, we'll generally, Keith and I will watch, after the fact, either after we're done streaming or possibly the next day, or in my case, just not at all for when I get too busy. But Carrie, I promise, I swear, I will definitely watch it. I will get the episodes in and we will chat about it. I don't have too much going on this week, thankfully.
I was going to say, and to defend Doug, last week we had a big meeting at work where all of our channel that sells our software was in town, and we had a bunch of things I had to do 2 different little meetings. I don't know, what are they called? We call presentations. I had 2 presentations. I know Doug was a part of at least 2.
Yep.
And we had cocktail parties and we had dinner parties after it. And it was like an all day, every day. So it was a very busy week for us. So Doug, I'm going to.
Flirking?
Hey, what's up, Flirk? But but yeah. Now if you come next week and say you haven't watched it.
Oh no, I will. I have no excuses now. I am not babysitting anybody's dog. A grandma's no longer in town. I don't have any meetings that I'm aware of, like in big meetings like that.
Oh, hey, can you watch my cat?
No.
Are you going to put a cat camera on him so we can watch him via the internet?
Yes. And he has to make sure he doesn't leave the camera at angles. If he does, you have to come over here and get her.
All right. Anything out there? We did have the question tonight that kind of popped up very organically during the stream tonight. What did you like better, Moon Knight or She-Hulk? 2 out of 3
say She-Hulk on the hosts. The hosts. The hosts.
Did we do that as like a poll, or were you just asking?
No, we were just asking.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sure.
The question just came up.
Next time we should do that. We should try out setting up a poll for Twitch. I think Clint does those pretty often.
So Brandon Davis, who is he works for Dish Insider, and this is what he just posted. House of the Dragon just put on a masterclass for TV. Payoffs and builds simultaneously, tremendous musical work, fantastic use of characters, and constant tension. Spectacular hour of television tonight.
For House of the Dragon?
That's what he said, yes.
Huh.
Oh, and then someone said the next episode is going to shock people. That preview, man.
Interesting. Right.
He must have fallen asleep during it. Well, just to put it in perspective too, Brandon Davis is a lot like me. He likes everything he sees. He always sort of finds the positive in a lot of the things that he watches and sees. So his
Silver
Ted,
lining, Keith.
Yeah, I was just
yes,
about to say, does he subscribe to Keith's Silver Lining?
he does.
Are you collecting royalties on that?
Not yet, but soon. But yeah, he is very positive about everything he sees. Like, it's hard to go off what he says. Like, he'll see, a Marvel movie early. He's like, it is the greatest thing that they've done in 500 years. And you watch it, you're like,
the Kool-Aid.
yeah. Yes, he definitely drank the Kool-Aid. But once again, everybody sees things differently. We talk about it on this, on our stream all the time. It's all subjective. What I think is great, Dave may not. What Doug thinks is great, we all think is great, because he created the scale of how we rate things.
Yeah.
And it's all good. You know what? I'm not here to tell anyone they're wrong. The only
I
thing,
think the scale makes
Except
sense.
me. Except
I never
me.
say you're wrong.
You did earlier tonight. You said,
Well,
I don't want to explain to you why you're wrong. We were
Did I
talking about
really?
She-Hulk. You
It was a
remember that?
joke. It was a joke.
No, I know. But when you're editing, go back and watch.
I will. The only thing I said is I didn't think I thought you were wrong about Charlie Cox saying it wasn't the character that's going to be in Born Again, because I thought he was talking about his Netflix character. But I'll watch it.
No, I'm talking about like when you were joking
you-
about the rating.
Yeah, you were talking about today, but when Dave said that he didn't like She-Hulk overall, you jokingly said, I don't want to explain to you why you're wrong about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think I'll wrap things up a little bit. I'll just give a brief rundown of my adventure at Comic-Con real quick if you guys have the time.
Oh yeah, we gotta add that in there.
Of course we do.
All right.
I'm gonna step away
so,
from a moment though.
I went to Comic-Con today, dressed as Lebowski Thor. I believe that is the official MCU name that they gave him. Because they felt that Fat Thor was offensive, so they've called him Lebowski Thor. But yeah, that's what I went in, and I didn't realize that there was actually like a Spirit Halloween kind of costume that you could get for this. I literally put together my own. Like, I was shopping online, I got like, I was looking at what he looked like in the pictures, and I got like a pair of Crocs, I got some pajama pants, I got a red robe with a hood on the back and short sleeves. Like, it took me forever to find the pieces that would be put together to assemble this costume. And then I show up and there's like two other Lebowski Thors walking around with like their Spirit Halloween costumes. I'm like, it was that easy? Really? But there was like, the usual guests that were walking around there. We had a Jurassic Park setup. It was really cool. Two of the vehicles. We had the Munsters car there. We had the Detroit Ghostbusters. They were there. In case that doesn't give it away, for those that do not know, Keith, Dave, and I were based out of Michigan, so I went to the Motor City Comic-Con. A lot of fun. It was a great time. I ended up meeting Karen Gillian.
Yep.
Gillian.
Just so you know, Doug, I'm now moving in a slideshow of some of the pictures you sent us.
Ooh,
So it'll be
nice.
playing on to the left of you while you talk about it.
Oh yes, okay, yeah. And there's the other the Thor. Like I said, that was the costume that apparently you can just purchase from like Spirit Halloween. I didn't realize that. So yep.
Well,
And there's
yours
me
was
now
much
with
better than the Spirit Halloween one.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I got to hang out with Carrie for a little while. That was nice getting a chance to see her there. There's me with Karen. She thought it was really cool. She loved the costume. She recognized who I was right away, even before seeing Mjolnir. This right here, this is a picture of these custom gumball machines that this guy creates, and this one was one with Mjolnir and as the stand. Awesome. He had like an Oogie Boogie gumball machine. He had a Death Star gumball machine, and like the gumballs that were in them were like color themed around like what the machine itself looked like. And so what I was going to suggest to you, gentlemen, is that when we get when we establish the Not Your Status Quo Studios officially, we get a gumball machine or a couple of them for our lobby, because we're obviously going to have an entrance lobby with a greeter there to greet all of our fans coming in, right?
Oh, absolutely.
No, I figured as much. All right. And yes, Carrie, she was doing pictures for many hours. And I'm surprised that she was like, she was cheerful, she was happy. Like, she was doing a whole series of pictures in the beginning, starting at like I want to say 11:30 this morning, and then she was doing more pictures with Matt Smith. Then she was doing autographs. Then she went back to doing more pictures with Matt Smith, and then she ended up doing another round of solo pictures. So yeah, she was incredibly busy. Karen, yeah. And you know, I give her major props because, like, yeah. Yep, Carrie, yeah, you were there for the 11:30 pictures. That is when they did start. Yep.
And she was really nice to you when you talked to her,
Yeah,
right?
she was super nice. Yeah. She was great. And it was funny because I was talking to somebody else. I was asking, other people who I noticed I'm carrying around a picture, and they were saying, "Oh yeah, we were rushed through. It wasn't a good experience." And I'm like, "Really? That's not what I heard." Because I know that Dave, he got a picture with her, and he spoke very highly of it. And so I was kind of surprised. I'm thinking, "Oh man, are they going to like push me in, snap the picture, and kick me out?" But no, that was not it at all. Got a chance to like talk to her. It was brief, yeah, because they had a lot going on. There was quite a long line, a lot of people. But the company that set this up, they had it divided up like really well, and they had 2 sessions of it. So I only waited an hour, and I'd say that's pretty good. I didn't. I also didn't pay for the VIP pass. I figure, just like the regular, the price for.
Wait, whoa! They didn't just give it to you? Did they not know where you were from?
Not your status quo here.
I ran out of. I was passing out these cards with our information and a QR code leading to all of our various links and everything. But I ran out by the time that I was going to get my picture taken.
Doug, did it look something like this?
It did. It looked exactly like that. Yes.
For those of you watching later, scan that QR code. It'll take you right to I think our YouTube.
No, to all of our links. All of our. It's that page that has our social media links and our YouTube and our Twitch and everything.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. And let's see. Carrie says, interesting. That's what I heard about Pose. They went quick with Loretta. I'm not sure who she's talking about. Who else was at Comic-Con?
Loretta Swit from MASH.
Oh. Yeah. Hot Lips Houlihan.
Mm-hmm. Jamie Farr was there as well.
Carrie shares a birthday with her.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, is that why she wanted the picture?
Yes. Yeah, she's a huge fan of MASH. Huge fan of her, and even brought her a gift. And I thought that was really cool.
That's nice.
Like they didn't let you talk, just take the picture and go. Yeah, a lot of those, celebrities who do that don't want any real interaction. They're just like, oh, come take a picture and let's go.
Remember Tom Welling?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, was it like that with you guys?
I said a whole sentence to him, and then he just looked at me and nodded, and then we took 2 pictures, and that was it.
Oh.
So I don't hold it against him. He probably had a long day, but it was probably more like that. You're expecting.
Yeah. I think Karen's just a really nice lady. So
she was incredibly nice, and also props to the Detroit Ghostbusters, because all of these other little things they were charging like like $5 or $10 or whatever to get a picture with their vehicles. Like I said, there was a whole Jurassic Park stand thing there, and they're like, hey, if you give us $5, we'll take pictures of you in our vehicles. And it was like, but obviously they don't use their cameras, they use your phone. It's like, all right, whatever, I guess. Hopefully it's going to some kind of charity or something like that. Same thing with the Munsters vehicle. But the Ghostbusters, they purposely had a big sign out that said, all pictures are free. And I'm like, good for you guys.
That's awesome. That is cool.
Yeah. And they had a couple of different stands set up. They had the Ecto one there. Then they had a rebuilt containment unit thing that was cool. And then they had this huge stack of proton packs and slime packs. And then they also had this giant Slimer. It was really cool. Oh, and also there was the 501st Legion. They weren't charging pictures, so props to them too.
Nice. And Tundra Walker says you guys aren't ready to be celebrities. Maybe Dave, Keith, and Doug would totally flark the lines. If I could, I would. That would be nice to meet those people. And then Carrie said she was super nice and spent lots of time with people at the booth. It was the photographers. Yeah, move along. We got more pictures to take.
Yeah, because when you pay however much it was, that's how much. If they keep you up there for 10 seconds and they run somebody else in, they're just increasing their cash. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
True. But hey, I think that is about all we have. I
think so. Wow, this was a long one tonight.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot. Not streaming on Wednesday, we had a lot to talk about, so it was nice. And you went to Comic-Con today, which hopefully next year, I definitely would have went today or this weekend had my wife not been out of town and me with the kids. Even though I have to tell you the story. My daughter, who's 14, wanted to go to Target with one of her friends. And I'm like, yeah, we can go. I'll take in. I'm like, Sully, you're coming with us. What do you want to do while we're waiting for him? He goes, let's go out to eat. So we go out to eat, and I'm like, what'd you think? He goes, it was a 5-star restaurant. Would you guys like to know where we ate?
Where?
Applebee's.
Taco Bell.
Oh, okay.
I was laughing. He was so... Because, he's kind of a COVID kid. We haven't really eaten out in the longest time. The fact that we went into the restaurant and sat and ate... And he was just so happy. He's like, I'm looking out the window. There's a bird on the sidewalk. He's like, thinks this is the greatest thing of all time. But I thought it was great. I was laughing because I told my wife, I go, you have to ask Sully about the 5-star restaurant we went to. And she goes, I thought you went to Taco Bell. I'm like, oh, we did. Wait till you hear him tell it. It was, I have a newfound appreciation for eating a Taco Bell.
Like the scene from Endgame when they hear the birds tweeting again.
Yes.
He's going to grow up appreciating the little things.
Silver lining Sully. He's going to take over in my shoes.
Yeah, he's going to take it from you. Take him to the Senate.
Yeah. Oh,
right, yeah.
Just so you know, Tundra Walker, we decided we're going to start going out to dinner every Friday night. Ooh. And that was one of my suggestions. And so hopefully...
By the way, we're talking about not literally the government Senate for anybody who is not from Michigan. What we're referring to is a chain of restaurants called Coney Island Restaurants.
And it's called the Senate.
Yes, and this one is called the Senate Coney Island.
I know of at least 2 of them. So,
and there's only 2 Senates, I think.
Oh,
and it's funny because one of the things growing up, I thought everywhere had Coney Islands like we have them, because you cannot get a Coney hot dog like you get in Detroit, anywhere else in the world except for Vegas. Now you can go to Vegas and they've got at the D, which is a Detroit themed casino. Yes, casino. That's the word I'm looking for. They have a Coney Islander now. Oh, Lafayette, Coney Island, and Westland Mall we used to go to when we were little.
Been there.
But
I live like 2 miles from there.
I was in the Marines and I'm in California, and we're sitting around one night talking about where we should go eat, and I'm like, man, there's any good Coney Islands around here? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like,
yeah.
You guys don't have Coney Islands? They're like, no, what is it? I'm like, it's chili.
It's like a purely Michigan thing.
It's chili that doesn't have beans on a hot dog with mustard and onions, and it's amazing. They're like, that sounds really good, but they don't have it here. I'm like,
well, they have a Coney Island in New York, but that's like a Boblo Island, right?
Yes. Yes. And there's other places that do, like, there's a Cincinnati chili type. Mm-hmm. It's like, and it's just like sort of meat on your hot dog, and not like a Coney sauce. So
yeah. You do it right here.
Yes, Brian, they do have Nathan's in California, not back in the 90s when I was there, but most of them don't serve. Skyline chili is not amazing. Chili. Take that back. That's the Cincinnati chili I was talking about.
Is that sarcasm?
No, I think he likes it. He might like it.
Anything from Ohio is garbage, and we do not respect it.
Oh, I remember, boy, pico de gallo. They sure don't make it like this in Ohio.
Nathan's, boy. So, okay, this will sound weird. The first and last time I ever had Nathan's was they had a He just said, so Ghostbusters is from Ohio? Brian.
You just said that to Doug.
Tundra Walker.
You know what, Tundra Walker? You're banned.
Oh, it's on now. You've done it, man.
He's upset Doug.
Doug's coming to Ludington.
Now, Tundra Walker.
Moderators, kick him out of the chat.
Did you see the latest Ghostbusters film? And if so, did you enjoy it? Because it was a good film, even with the guy sitting behind us.
Don't taint his opinion.
Oh, he did not.
It was good.
He doesn't take my word for it.
It was
anyway,
a good movie.
As I was saying before, somebody slandered the Ghostbusters. The first and only time that I ever had Nathan's was in Afghanistan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. As we were getting ready to come back to the States, we were in this like little area where they had I want to say it had to have been the Air Force because that's totally something they would do. They literally built a boardwalk.
Out of the sun?
Huh?
Under the boardwalk.
Oh, okay. But no, and I kid you not, Keith, we were in Afghanistan and they set up a volleyball court in the center. The geniuses that they were. And they built this boardwalk and they brought in like local nationals from Afghanistan. They had a Nathan's hot dog, they had a Starbucks, they had like all these different little shops set up, and I don't think this area was that much safer than any of the others, really, because there were still air raid sirens all the time. They were constantly shooting mortars at the damn place, but. Yeah, I remember we were there for a good week or so prior to going back to the States, and
capitalism.
I was like, all right, yeah, I'll have a hot dog. It's been a while since I've had like decent food, so I don't know what the hell they made out of, but yeah, had a Nathan's hot dog. It was pretty okay.
Doug, are you dissing MREs?
What?
Are you dissing MREs?
I am very much dissing MREs. They were not great.
And Tundra Walker, thanks you for your service. Now, most people think that MRE stands for meals ready to eat, but that's not true. They are actually. But everyone knows MREs actually stand for meals rejected by Ethiopians.
Yeah.
Because they are disgusting.
It's so bad. Oh god! And like the only good things about them are like every now and again you'll get like the jalapeno cheddar, fake cheese stuff that you can like squeeze all over everything and give it some sense of flavor, or just if you don't get any of the omelet MREs.
Omelet with ham. Did I ever tell you the story about when we did a 3-day war? What we did?
Oh no!
Oh my god!
Oh.
So we were having this 3-day war where. And we're out on patrol. There's like 5 of us. Mm-hmm. And we come up on another camp. Everyone is asleep. Whoever was supposed to be awake was not. And so we were like, oh, you know what we're doing, don't you? We took all of their MREs except for their omelet with hams. And we took them all back to our camp. And then we grabbed all of our omelet with hams. So almost everyone in our camp was in on it by this point. And we go back, we're like, okay, we're going to sneak over there. If they're still asleep, we're going to put our omelets with ham down. If not, they're screwed. They just got to eat what they got. And they were still, everyone was completely asleep. We put all the omelets with hams with their MREs. We left, walking away, cracking up, thinking it was the funniest thing ever.
And they could have had it coming.
And I still remember the next day, we get guy coming over with like it's not a white flag of surrender, but it's like, hey, like pause in the 3-day war or whatever. And he comes over and he's yelling at our captain and just going on and on about it. And then he takes like some MREs because obviously we had more than we were supposed to, and leaves and goes back. And yes, parlay. Thank you, Tundra Walker. And captain calls everyone over and he goes, "Listen, I don't know who of you did this," even though he did because he was awake while we were doing it.
Right.
But he has to play the game. He's like, I don't know who of you did this, but food is a very important thing while this thing, and we really shouldn't play games like that. But I did let him know. Maybe if your people could stay up for Firewatch, they would be eating something besides omelet with ham at this point. Good times.
Good times.
Hit us up at Twitter, leave a comment down below, and we will see you next time on Not Your Status Quo.